Hello and welcome to another Office Hours. I've been doing that today. Captain's Table. To another Captain's Table.
Teats. Whatever your name is, stop it. Paul.
Pete's. Well, Pete did just raid, so that works.
Yeah.
My name is Paul Berserker 01 Batman Shelley, your humble host and space bartender here at the AstroPub, and I'm going to be your facilitator here for the Captain's Table. This is a Star Citizen podcast, one of the oldest Star Citizen podcasts, where we talk about Star Citizen, about a bunch of different things. I've been doing this for 6 years now, or no, eight years now. I'm on season 8 of this.
I know.
I know. And we've got some familiar faces here, and we're going to be talking about what I've dubbed very cleverly, because I'm very clever and I'm very smart.
He's so clever.
I'm so clever,
So
smart.
smart.
I call this Escape from Starkov because I'm, no one else has made this reference ever. So I'm just that smart.
Ever.
But with that, we'll get into that details here, specifically around the space stations from the Pyro system we've learned about, but before we do, we'll get started with introductions of the folks who are here. With our favorite person who's wrong, according to Jared, to Disco Lando, is Gyrinator, Darjanator, Darjanitor, the Darth Janitor,
Darj.
the Prince of Pluto, Emperor of Uranus. Who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen, and where can they find you?
I mean, you've already introduced everything about me, so. No, I am Darinator, also known as Darj, or as Jared likes to call me, Jarinator. But I'm not a man about that. In his job, it's his job to know about thousands of people, and my name's never been the easiest to pronounce, so it's fine. But yeah,
you're giving him grace period when you give me shit every single time I screw it up.
I actually talk to you, and I tell you, and I introduce myself every time.
He makes a good point.
But no, what I do primarily is basically come on the AstroPub and advertise that I work at JRDF.
What is JRDF? For those people that don't know.
Yes, JRDF is the only licensed producer of kit models based on the Star Citizen universe, and we have a very good thing coming up on the 9th. We have a launch announcement stream. That's the first stream with a new team from the US. And we will be announcing the Raven. I'm guessing I'm announcing the announcement of the Raven.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Well, you've mentioned it before here.
Yes, I have mentioned it before, but now it's all legal. CIG's approved of everything. We're just finishing up the last of the art, and then we can start the production. And when that happens, hold on. I have
You have the model, right? The
here.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Nice.
So you have to assemble that, just so people know.
Yes.
Some assembly required.
We only have a license for kit models, not for fully assembled and painted ships. And this is going to be the first one that I fully, as was recently described, sculpted, not modeled. I am a sculptor now. This will be the first full one that I've got. I also have another one on my desk here that I can't talk about, and that will be closer to CitizenCon if we even talk about it before CitizenCon. But yeah, on the 9th we will be having the first sort of meet the team stream, and showing off the workshop, how we do things. So if you want to check that out, it'll be much appreciated at twitch.tv/JRDesFab.
DesFab, yeah. Twitch.tv/
design fabrication, yes.
DesFab. JR DesFab. Because they're just...
I'll put it in chat.
They're DesFab, all right. And you probably... you will be at CitizenCon, right? So
yes, I will be personally at CitizenCon. The entire team will be at CitizenCon. We will be selling kits at CitizenCon. So unfortunately, right now for European clients or our European friends, yes.
Yeah, I bought this at CitizenCon this last year. So just so you get an idea of
we moved everything about the model side of JRDF to New York. and unfortunately shipping across the Atlantic, as it was a bitch for the majority of our clients in the US before was a bitch. Now it's going to be a bitch for the
other direction. Yeah.
Yeah. But we will. So if you're if you want to get it, we will be selling at CitizenCon.
Yeah. So just for references, so people understand, like if you were trying to get JRDF models in the US, you would have to spend sometimes the same amount of money in just shipping and taxes as you would for the entire model. Like this is like $20-something. I think it's like $23, $24 on the website. But if you were just getting this to send it to you in the US when it was in the UK, it would cost you $25 in shipping and handling. So this was $50 as a result. So
we are looking in, establishing a distribution center in Europe as well. But that's further down the line once we actually start making money.
Yes.
Right now we haven't launched anything from the new company yet.
So
so buy their models so they can have more distribution centers.
We still have all the stock that was printed in Scotland before has moved over to the States, so we still have all of that. But we're also, the Raven is going to be the first one we're actually fully producing in the States.
I figured you guys would do some sort of Alibaba Chinese scheme where you'd have like a drop shipper in the United States. You ship to the drop shipper, and then they'd ship to someone locally.
Yeah,
that requires more capital than JRDF has, I think.
It does.
It's a very niche product, so it's the issue. It's good if you're a Star Citizen
already is a
niche.
But
Star Citizen has whales. Shouldn't you be able to find people with deep pockets to bankroll your stupid bullshit?
Yes, but they also
Chris Roberts did. What's holding you back, Darge?
We actually have to produce a project.
Yeah.
Well, you see, a bunch of players in Star Citizen already have a Warhammer addiction. So there is enough plastic crack in the system already.
Yeah, they have to compete.
And I'm totally not looking at my unpainted Bane blade on my shelf.
Don't remind me of the 2 Bane blades I haven't painted yet. That are.
Look, it took me like 3 weeks to magnetize it so I can make all of them out of the one box. I'm not gonna touch it for a little while. I'll bladed out.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have a plastic crack edition or anything like that. This is totally not a MechWarrior BattleTech.
Here's mine.
Yeah.
I got this out of a box from a video game. This is a pewter stormtrooper I got at a Dark Forces box set, like 25 years ago. I also have my my little models that I got for supporting. What is this? A Planetary Annihilation on their Kickstarter. So I got a few of their commanders sitting on my desk here. This is a really obscure game. Good luck figuring out that one.
I know Planetary Annihilation. I remember I tried to stream it, and then everyone who was playing, who was a veteran, told me I was shit at it, and so I stopped streaming it. So. All right. With that, let's talk about the next the cue ball in the room. Kane himself, Mr. Space Coder.
That's what he was reminding me of.
Yes, you're giving off.
Kane lives.
You're giving off some Kane vibes right there with the lighting, and I like it. So Space Coder.
Before we continue.
On my end, it looks great. On your end, it looks like shit.
It looks great on my end.
Compression. Twitch and Discord compression.
Yeah, Discord per compression. It looks fine on my end, but the Discord is the thing that's kind of looking a little off. So.
Okay, if you guys say so.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I am a Star Citizen content creator, mostly make videos where I try to explain what CIG are doing as a software developer. Most of the time it ends with CIG are doing this wrong and this is what they should actually probably be doing. But I'm also the creator, owner, and proprietor of the Star Citizen Armory, which if you're not using it, you should. Because it's going to make your life a lot easier, especially in 3.24 once inventory weirdness comes in. If you don't know what the Armory is, it lets you create loadouts for your character. You can share them with your friends, find out where to buy them and where to loot them, and also what stat they have and all that good stuff. Go use that.
Good. It's good. It's a good.
It's kind of like air cool for people.
Yeah.
I hate that comparison. Just because Urkel was first.
I would say it's FPS sort of a good FPS companion app if you're trying to look for like FPS content.
Does it equip my equipment for me when I log into the game?
No, exactly. You don't let me do that.
Yeah. See, that's my problem with the upcoming patch with like the 3.24, how the new items, how the new item banks are going to work. I'm not looking forward to that.
Well, what we need is one of those Iron Man suit up machines that Tony Stark's got in the first movie.
We had those. Remember those back in like
the GSS locker,
2.5?
Mm-hmm.
You walk up to the locker and it would swap your civvies for your suit.
Yeah.
Why don't we have
because
those?
you only had one thing.
Yeah.
Why can't you set up like your suit and then your civvies and then you just walk up to it and swaps? If you have your civvies in the local area, it swaps with
so Vertigo.
Well,
Vertigo.
That's what suit locker is going to be.
That'd
Vertigo.
be really convenient.
Vertigo and Jargonator. You realize this is part of the discussion we're going to have. Save it for the discussion section, Vertigo. Speaking of which, who are you?
We're going to be talking about inventory? Oh boy.
What?
I am too sober for this.
Well, I mean, we're going to have to talk about it because of the topic at hand is going to have to deal with loot. And if dealing with loot means we're going to talk about inventory, which means we're going to have to deal with all of this stuff.
Stop getting ahead of yourself, Vertigo.
Yeah.
No.
So, Vertigo, who are you? What do you do in Star Citizen? Where can they find you?
Well, kind of a Star Citizen streamer these days. Been kind of doing more variety stuff. Star Citizen's kind of like right now. So we've been streaming like Helldivers 2. Went back to play Everspace 2 finally. That's vaguely reminding me of Freelancer.
Ooh.
For anybody who wants Freelancer vibes, go play Everspace 2. The first game was actually pretty fun too. It was like a little roguelike space third-person space flight thing.
Yeah, this is more like
second game is
story-driven
nothing
RPG.
like the first game.
Yeah.
Much different. It's more like an open-world sandbox RPG. So we've just been doing variety stuff, both in Star, just whatever kind of I fancy in Star Citizen. Most of the missions don't even work in Star Citizen, so I logged into the morning to like spawn my Corsair at Orison, and then I watched my Corsair. I watched the beacon for my Corsair just fall right through the platform to the center of Orison, just blow up, and I'm just like, oh, thanks, Star Citizen, great.
Yeah, at least you can log in.
But you can find me on Twitch.
Every
Twitch
new bug is an old bug in Star Citizen.
Yeah. Yes.
Seen this one before, right? So yeah, Twitch TV, HC Vertigo. Find them on YouTube, HC Vertigo. Instagram, HC Vertigo. We're not on Twitter anymore for reasons.
Yeah, because it sucks now.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Well, oh God, I have Darj and Vertigo on. Whenever it comes up, we talk about how Elon Musk sucks, and everyone just gets mad at us for it. So
I know, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Cookie Clicker. Let's not forget Cookie Clicker. I discovered that again.
I'm actually wasn't going to mention it. The internet has been doing a pretty good job of that lately. So
I mean, we were talking shit like before the internet decided to turn on him, and we got a lot.
Yeah.
Because we saw it coming.
Yeah.
I'm like every time I see him come up in a conversation these days, like on the news or something for some disgusting thing he said or did, I'm just like, I don't need any more reasons to hate this guy. I already hate him. Like, I can't possibly have a less of opinion of him anymore.
All right. With that being said, let's get started with the discussion because I will go over premise just so people understand. There are two things that were added to the roadmap this week.
Roadmap.
And on the roadmap, it is asteroid bases and I'm gonna look exactly what it says. Asteroid bases. I'm gonna see the exact name for it. And contested zones on space stations. Yeah. So
we saw that. By the way, the contested zones for anybody who is interested, we saw those on the Pyro playtest when I played it last time.
Yeah, the empty or the kind of taken over hangar.
Yeah.
And they've also shown them, even though we didn't know about it, like they've shown them at CitizenCon for like the virtual crosshair and stuff like that. Those were happening inside those contested zones.
So we've already kind of seen this coming from a while, a little ways away. So
they mentioned
piecemeal, but not actually announced that this.
And it wasn't Paul. It wasn't just the hangars that they took over. They actually had special sections of the space station you could take an elevator to, or you could access from the exterior of the Pyro station. Yeah. There was an airlock you can get through. You had to fly up next. It took me a while to figure out how to get in there. So I took the waypoint was in this weird spot. I didn't know what elevator you could get to because the elevator was kind of hidden in kind of like a corner of a junkyard.
It's not just elevators. There were like ventilation shafts you could take to get to those places.
So
it's like shows you that everything's connected. It's not just you go from one instance room to another instance room. It's basically everything's in the station and it's just connected via different.
Yeah. They had those areas off the Who Wants Some Noodles, the little cafeteria area with an airlock door, and you can get in there and you can fight some guys in there as well. It has vents and whatnot to find. Yeah. I remember that now.
Yeah. Hopefully my voice is a little bit better there. People are saying I was a little bit louder, so I'm trying to match it so to hit the right sweet spot. But you're getting the idea. You've all seen this, and you've probably seen this at home if you've talked about it. They actually talked about it. I think Darsh brought this up. They talked about this at CitizenCon.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about this specifically about like abandoned places where you go in and find rare loot and coming out. So this is not new news. This is a fairly well known trodden ground.
But yeah, I'm always for more content in Star Citizen, more interesting uses of content they have. More stuff.
I will read the descriptions of both of them so that we all have the same context of what's going on. The contested zones is specifically, these are a location feature coming to Pyro space stations, including FPS gameplay with various layouts tailored for this purpose. The zones will feature a progression system requiring tokens to unlock different zones, giving access to the loot inside. Collecting all of the tokens will allow a player to open the final door and claim the grand prize. And then the second one is asteroid bases, implementing new asteroid bases scattered across space in asteroid clusters, gas clouds, and other areas of Pyro. From exploration-type gameplay to mission-based locations, these bases include both constrained interiors and potential FPS conflicts, as well as space combat while reaching or fleeing from the location. So we can see asteroid bases are kind of just like bunker missions, but in space with space.
I think quite a few people on my channel were asking, do you think those asteroid bases are going to be like the asteroid star base they sold for the hangar Vertigo? I'm like, it's just going to be like an underground facility or distribution facility in space.
Yeah,
that's take Cryastro, what we have already, make it an asteroid.
Yeah,
you're going to be flying around inside of it looking for mission
my
objectives.
Own personal Grim Hex.
Yeah. Yes, basically, it'll be like a Grim Hex, but with combat added to it.
What I'm kind of interested in is the possibility for zero-G combat, FPS combat against AI. I don't think we've seen them pull that trick yet.
They showed it off at Squadron. They showed it off in the Squadron.
Yeah, in Squadron. Yeah,
right.
No.
That
was a cutscene.
They showed it off. Remember when they first showed off the Dragonfly back in 2017?
Oh yeah.
They went inside that wrecked Starfarer. I think that was other players though, but they showed off FPS combat in that. That was the first time they showed off zero-G FPS AI combat, to my knowledge.
There was also the Retaliator mission
that didn't have FPS combat. They had EVA.
Yeah,
that was like 2016. That was the baby PU when they first showed that off. They reactivated a Retaliator by installing the fuses.
Yeah,
but it didn't have like combat.
Yeah, everybody was dead. Yeah.
So the question I'm going to start with, well, and the other one I'll just say as well is, it feels very much contested zones sounds like an extraction shooter. It sounds very extraction shooter adjacent. You get tokens for going to an area, and then it has that sort of. I think Darsh, you said it was like a Metrovania style, where like you have to like gather resources in order to like unlock other areas.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing you won't be unlocking abilities, but you will be, just traversing the space looking for pieces of equipment to unlock a new area to go into. Yeah.
Half-Life 2 physics puzzles.
Yeah, Half-Life 2 physics puzzles.
I love that. Yeah, because then they have their own physics now.
Yeah. This sounds like to tokens specifically, or like it's kind of like Doom's key system, where you'd have to go find the key and then use it.
I mean, very basic stuff there, but I can see that.
Yeah, well, Doom was a Metroidvania, even though it was the first one that wasn't, one of the first ones that wasn't just 2D, it was quasi 3D.
I'm just a little insulted by that.
Doom is a Metroidvania. Oh, listen, I have an entire spiel about how the video game...
How am I wrong?
Video game definitions do not make sense. Nothing in video games definitions make sense, because what did we call FPS games after Doom?
Oh,
Doom clones.
Yeah. Doom clones. But we didn't call them FPS, even though Doom wasn't the first FPS. There was Wolfenstein was before Doom.
Yeah.
And there was one
and there was
before
Blackstone as well.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of other stuff before.
Blackstone, yes,
Yeah.
Blackstone.
So it's like, why were they called Doom clones? Because Doom was popular. It's like, why there were definitely Metroid and Castlevania
Metroidvanias
style.
because you got Metroid and Castlevania that were basically the first games to do that thing. And there's
Metroid
Rogue, which was the first roguelike.
Oh my god, Rogue, yes. Everyone calls it roguelike. So Metroid requires you to get special abilities to go forward, like the spin jump or missiles so you can unlock doors.
But didn't you have to do
Doom
that?
Doom doesn't require that. Doom requires you just to find keys.
Yeah.
And Wolfenstein requires you to find keys.
Yeah.
To like unlock doors.
It's the same kind of idea, though.
Which is what I said.
It's an FPS. It's
we're
not
not going to
Metroidvania.
have new abilities, but it would be cool if you had to get new abilities, like ability to do something different in 0G. Or
something.
Yeah.
Well,
Doom
not double
2016
jump,
or Doom Eternal would be close to a Metroidvania because you had to get new abilities to actually move through the level.
Yes. Yeah. No, but I'm
advance.
just saying, like the concept of going into a place, finding an ability or an item that lets you go into a different place, but in a non-linear way.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I'm getting at. Yeah. But that's basically just every fucking video game.
That is basically every fucking video game. That's but like the point is they're looking at this is what they want to do because they want to add more content. And I agree with Vertigo in the sense that it's like more content is always good. More content in Star Citizen is good.
And if you're comparing Star Citizen to an extraction shooter like Tarkov, like people like Escape from Tarkov.
Yes.
So can you pick a worse game for them to rip off?
Yeah. I mean, no.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, like it's
people
not
like Tarkov.
So let's start off with the kind of very basics because this mentions like some sort of prize, which I'm guessing is loot. And loot is a big topic in the game right now, mostly because for those people who have been kind of around loot, can know how that CIG sort of changed loot generation and how loot functions and like where you can get loot. So let's talk.
I can't wait to loot a helmet I don't want to wear.
Yeah. So Vertigo, that's the question that I'm going to start off with is what is your current experience with the loot system in Star Citizen?
Oh my god, it's like finding wet diarrhea in a box when you open it up. It's just like, oh, a helmet that's really ugly. No. Oh, a piece of armor that I could buy in the store in game for credits that's just a different color that I'm not going to wear because I wear medium arms, medium legs, heavy chest, and heavy helmet. So this is going.
This coming from the person who coined mustard and ketchup armor in Star Citizen, like you were, So
very specific art uniform though. I have to go to Art Corp to buy the entire set. Like there is a very specific color code set that I get.
Your clown armor is a set?
Colors. It's not random. Well, it was random colors, but now it's not random colors. Now it's a very specific
hues and shades to be as ugly as possible.
You need to watch. You need to watch a Vertigo stream Star Citizen to understand what we're talking about. But his clown armor is famous,
legendary.
You can now save it as a loadout on the armory and share it with everyone.
Yes.
Oh, you should do that. You should do that.
You know.
All right. Hashtag promotion.
Yes.
It's all about product placement.
What do you think C stands in HC Vertigo? It's clown.
So talking about the loot system, like one, it's Star Citizen, so CIG is going to add this loot this progression based system where you have to get like keys to unlock a door to get to a treasure chest that gives you loot, right? Well, one, is the loot going to be worth it? Is the juice going to be worth the squeeze, Paul?
That's the question.
And like right now, I'm going through most of the missions, and I open the boxes up, and I'm like, there's 90% of the time, there's nothing I want. I like if there's a railgun in there, cool, I'll take that. But everything else, I could find while playing the game, or just buy in bulk. That's one of the problems I have, right?
But Pyro has been promised, like for a while now, that there will be a lot of Kit Bash stuff, and I'm hoping that is what you'll end up with because that's not something you can buy in a store.
So. Some of the Kit Bash shit that CIG does, like the Mantis helmet, I think it's the Mantis helmet. It's that one that it looks kind of like an insect and has like little not mandibles, but like tiny little fangs, and it's got like spikes. And you'll find it like sometimes in the shipjackers wear it. I honestly, some of the Kit Bash shit CIG puts out is just so hideous that not even I would want.
So
the problem is not even hideous in a good way. It's CIG has a problem with art in the game they have, and the colors they choose. I'm gonna go just kind of metrosexual here on you, Paul.
Go for it.
And start talking about color palettes and whatnot. We're gonna be picking colors out here on the stream on this podcast.
I mean, you're gonna say the thing I already know, which is, and I already agree with, was that like two greens aren't the exact same greens, even though they're from the same manufacturer.
No. It's like in good lighting, if you get two, we saw this. I saw this complaint recently on the forum, but I've been complaining about it for years. Is if you get two colors, if you get two different pieces of armor, like a helmet and a chest piece, that say the exact same color, like Imperial or purple or something, you put them on, you find a nice lighting to go into in Star Citizen, they're obviously not the same shade.
That's what I mean.
Or tint.
Yeah, that's what he said, yeah.
Yeah.
But the other problem I have was Star Citizen is so dark, dingy, foggy, smoky, and just washed out in terms of like colors and lighting, that it is very difficult to get to read. I don't know if it's just me. It could just be my old ass eyes because I turned 41 this year. It could just be me getting old. But I look at like some of the armor sets, and it's very hard for me to differentiate between Crusader Security and Ninetales sometimes.
Because time to get that color blindness test done at the doctor's office.
I have to use reshade to boost colors in Star Citizen to make it look appropriate.
I think
what you can do is go into user CFG and disable post-processing color grading. That helps a lot.
Really? Okay, color grading.
Yeah.
But that's something that's a complaint I've had since Star Marine was released. Like trying to see guys wearing the outlaw armor inside Star Marine on certain maps where it's very orangey and whatnot. It's just like, come on, guys, you're killing me here.
Yeah.
But Star Citizen has that problem with lighting, color, and fog and smoke and post-processing effects where, like, yeah, you get this wonderful kit bash stuff they show you on the website. The website has, like, idealized lighting.
Yeah.
And Exodus found this out with the Gladius, the Pirate Gladius. If you go on the store, the web store, to buy the Pirate Gladius, which is a special Gladius you can unlock on the web store by beating Pirate Swarm. If you go onto the web store, like to most people, it looks kind of red, right? And then you get it in game and you fly it around in game, and it's clearly orange. Have an orangey red.
That is because of the color grade, because it just applies the color filter over the entire image. So I posted in chat what you need to put into user.cfg. It doesn't work in the console. It has to be in the user CFG.
Okay.
So just R_ color grading equals 0. Basically, just like whatever, you just turn it off. Yeah.
So like, okay, so we're supposed to be talking about.
It disables the
I'm just
Mexico
gonna put that in my user
Loops.
CFG real quick.
Well, here's the thing, because like I can easily tie that into what you're saying is that the loot is either ugly, worthless, or not interesting at all.
Not interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if CIG wants to do an extraction shooter, they're already failing.
Yeah.
Like, because the whole point of an extraction shooter is you're going to find cool shit. And what I imagine CIG doing in the future is we're just going to have the Diablo thing, where we have different grades of the same bullshit. Where we're going to have, like, white common items, blue, green, uncommon, orange, rare, and then,
it would help
if... Or Destiny did this shit, right?
No, but I don't like that. It would be cool if you were able to get attachments you can't get usually in shops. Or
well, Pyro's coming out. You're gonna get everything you find in loot pools, not gonna be able to be purchased.
Yes, exactly. That's good because if you can take it off and put it on a gun you actually like, and it doesn't visually clash, then you're golden. But also something that I've been talking about for a while is modded guns.
Let's get to let's let Space Coder talk, and then we'll get into your kind of discussion on discharge. So Space Coder, what is, since you have a unique perspective, since you have to see all of this shit, you have to like dive into this garbage and sort through it like a raccoon on Saturday night. What is your perspective on CIG's current loot system?
Look, since the loot system became a thing, which is 3 years now, I have been saying, and everybody's been saying, that I'm completely delusional, that every box I open has the exact same 3 things in it. A bottle of water, a chocolate bar, and a multi-tool attachment. If I get lucky, it's the same set of pants.
Oh, can I inject real quick? I open up like the inventory of like guys I kill, like NPCs, and I find a salvo pistol, I find a UBRIV pistol, I find ammunition for both of them, and I find ammunition for a gun they're not carrying.
Yes.
But it's always the salvo pistol, and it's always a UBRIV in there, and I want neither of those pistols.
Yes.
Yeah. And here's the thing that it comes down to on the game side. CIG have created a bunch of loot tables. These loot tables have a bunch of item tags in them. Each item tag has like a couple dozen items on it. So you will end up with a loot table that has about 500 items in it on average. And that's for every container, per location, per whatever, everywhere. And it picks 5 of those items. So your drop chance on anything is like
5 items every time.
Yeah.
So the drop chance on it is like 0.000 something percent. So your chance of getting a full set of armor is 4 pieces of armor. So that's
the right color.
Astronomically low.
Yeah.
I've been looking for the Defiance Sun Chaser or Sunset set, which is basically Defiance armor but yellow. I've been looking for that
Sunburst.
entire set. Sunburst, yeah. I've been looking for that entire set for like 2 years since I found a goddamn helmet of it. And good luck.
Not gonna find it ever.
And we're talking about that. The Sunburst helmet is the what's the not the Novikov, the other one.
The Pembroke.
The Pembroke.
Yeah,
The Pembroke Sunburst helmet is the perfect helmet to go with the stock Novikov armor.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't look like you're wearing this huge bell, and it almost matches. And that's something that Vertigo was talking about. It almost matches.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, but here's my suspicious, which is why people think I'm delusional, is that the game determines what items you get in the box based on your account. So there's a semi-solid chance that you keep getting the same shit because it's you. And I don't know if it's on purpose or if it's a bug.
It's like GTA, because you steal a car after hours of trying to get it, and you turn down a street, and every car parked on the street is that same car now.
So yeah, so much on loot generation. It needs to be burned to the ground and started over. But on the other hand, they actually use the same system for generating minables and sort of all the stuff you can pick up, all the plants and gems and whatever. And technically, they could actually use the same system to generate locations. And that ties us back to the asteroid bases. Okay. So they could actually put asteroid bases into the loot table, quote unquote, because it's not a loot table anymore at that point. And they could just generate these procedurally based on some probability, and they could just be like, oh, you have a 30% probability that this is going to be manned with hostiles. You have whatever probability that it's going to be empty, and there's going to be no loot, or there's going to be a little bit of loot, there's going to be valuable loot. And suddenly, you don't need a token system to deal with contested bases and whatever. And
I don't know how I feel about permanent installations being randomly generated every time someone enters a specific area.
Well, they could do
that doesn't mesh with their persistent entity streaming stuff.
Well, they're going to do persistent personal hangars right now, so they could obviously do persistent locations where you take an elevator into and it dumps you into your own location.
Yeah.
Your own little private location.
Yeah, and that actually brings us back to the persistence problem, that they can have these as permanent locations for mission purposes if they would like to, and
they do a mix.
But nothing stops them from having procedurally generated locations that you can just stumble upon, and boom, you have free exploration gameplay.
They had that a long time ago. Back in 3.1, they would have dead drops that were procedurally generated in random spots on the planet.
Yeah, I remember those.
It was just like a stack of crates, then you just put another crate on top of it, and then you fly away, and the location would just disappear.
Well, it would also be a lot of those assets turned into the salvage area. So all of those those pieces of ships that you see in the salvage area, those are like pieces of caterpillars. Those were dead drops originally.
But it doesn't mesh with their entire persistent notion. So I can see it. I can see them using this whole system to generate something, but once it exists, unless it's actually completely vaporized, it will stay there forever. with variations on the inside, like overlays, prop positioning, content, stuff like that. But the actual facility, once it's generated, I feel like it's going to be there forever.
Okay.
I mean, didn't
Like, they could have
point
like temporary facilities too, because I mean, in a world where you have casual space travel, you can quickly set up, a little hab, and then do something
in
with
Pyro,
that, and then just deconstruct it really quickly.
I would
but
totally
if it's built into an asteroid,
that...
it's different.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Space Coder.
It's an asteroid field in Pyro. It's poorly mapped.
Yeah.
It moves around unpredictably. There is a half-exploding star in there, just irradiating everything. Yeah, sure, maybe you don't find it again. I think that's a pretty plausible explanation.
Yeah.
But I mean, at some point they did have mineable persistence. I don't know if that's still a thing.
I don't know.
So technically they could use something similar to persist these asteroid bases.
Mm-hmm.
Once someone stumbles upon them.
Yeah.
But still, the loot system sucks. You're never going to find what you're looking for. And
they mentioned a while ago that the loot system is supposed to be based on the type of archetype of the person and the location. And even the colors that were supposed to be matched to whatever that personal location was about.
No, so that first part, that exists. Archetypes are a thing in the loot tables.
So I'm a first-person, I'm a FPS archetype. And when I go through the loot tables, I find nothing that I care to.
Well, he's talking about like the boxes themselves, right? Space Coder?
Okay.
Yeah. So the boxes are archetyped and the locations are archetyped. And depending on that, it slightly changes the composition of the box. But it doesn't change the fact that the loot table is way too long.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you would need to have a box with like 100-something items to actually have a reasonable chance of finding anything that you like.
Yeah.
And that's not
noticing
like
the boxes drop like 1 or 2 items now.
Yeah.
With the new loot system they put in, I noticed I opened up one of those red boxes with the gray tops, and it's just like a chess piece.
Yeah.
Or it's a leg and a gun. I'm just like, that's not helpful.
I mean, does the actual box look like it could contain more?
Not really. I'm like, if you take one of your chess pieces, put it next to one of those red boxes, it looks like it could take exactly a chess piece and maybe like a couple gun.
Yeah.
If you kind of eyeball it.
So we need bigger boxes.
We do.
Not just those tiny ones. Yeah.
But
and we'll probably get that with Pyro, with the new token system that people will probably like. They won't find the token. The token won't work.
It won't spawn. Oh god,
it won't spawn.
Yeah.
You'll walk up to the door and you'll just be able to loot the item through the door because the door has no collision or something.
Yeah.
And then CIG's going to ban you for exploiting the economy because instead of fixing their game, they're just going to ban their people who are playing it.
So Space Coder, I'll add on to this because you do the armory and stuff like that. Your initial interpretation of this system, which seems to be heavily like these contested zones, they seem to be heavily inspired by Tarkov and other looter shooter sort of things. Like when I first read it, my first thought was actually the zone from
Stalker.
From not from Stalker, from the dark zone from Division. Yeah. It could get that the zone feel from Stalker as well. It's sort of like just lawless.
CIG.
I mean, that's kind of what that's Spyro stations, man. There's probably leaking power reactors everywhere, and random animals.
I want to watch. I want to watch
there's,
Exodus get turned inside out by some sort of fucking
there's
overload
there's parts of the Pyro stations that are unshielded from the coronal mass emissions.
Yes, I discovered that one day, and that was very uncomfortable.
So yeah.
Also, it tells a lot about me and my gaming habits if Star Citizen is going to be the first extraction shooter that I play.
Not really. There's not that many extraction shooters that are really good other than an ET.
So I have no idea what an extraction shooter is even supposed to feel like. That's what I mean.
Have you played Destiny?
No. That's what I'm saying. It'll be the first extraction shooter that I play.
So the general gist of an extraction shooter is you should be going in, doing a lot of work, and if you do a lot of work and everything goes right, you should be leaving with something cool. That's it.
So there's no actual feeling of progression. It's just
no. There is progression. Like you get stuff and you upgrade yourself, and then eventually you get to the point where you don't need to loot more stuff because you have the best stuff, and then you just go in to fight other players with the best stuff you have, and then it becomes like gambling. Do
Yeah.
I beat them? If you beat them, you may get their stuff, which could be cool, and then you start to accrue like more stuff.
Different
sets.
backup
stuff.
Yeah, like oh yeah, I can
to back up the stuff you have. Or you die and you drop all your stuff.
Yeah.
And then you just lost everything.
I really don't like that.
Most people don't like Tarkov. A lot of people like Tarkov, but some people don't like Tarkov.
Attraction shooters are very niche. They're very niche FPS
it's like
genre.
the same reason why I don't play arena shooters. It's just like you just keep doing the same thing over and over again, trying for a different outcome.
But the whole draw of like extraction shooters like Tarkov is the gambling, kind of like
it's stress.
Vegas.
It's
like playing craps, roulette, or something like that. It's like the idea that you could lose everything at a moment's notice.
It's
makes everything far more intense.
It's heavily inspired by DayZ. It's heavily
Stanton.
It's heavily inspired by DayZ, which has a similar sort of feel. So, like, as somebody who played the original DayZ mod and that kind of stuff, I get it. The idea is just the adrenaline. Like, at any moment, anyone could walk around a tree and blast you in the face and take everything. So everything is always stressed. You're always kind of not stressed, but stress is the technical term, like the correct term, but it's more like you're always
tension.
It's always tense. Yeah,
tense.
You're always on edge. So that
I have a great
very...
anecdote about this. I was playing with Dreadar and Exodus, my guild leader, Tarkov, right? And I was clutching my mouse so tightly most of the time because I was always expecting like some bush to start shooting at me.
Yeah.
That I would occasionally start shooting the ground or shooting a tree or something. And it was just because I was clutching my mouse so tightly that I would accidentally click my left mouse button to fire my gun. And a shot would ring out behind these guys. They're like, who's shooting? I'm shooting. I'm sorry, it's just me. Sorry, I'm just really stressed right now.
Yeah.
It adds my fault.
But it adds that sort of tension, really helps build, and it can be addicting in terms of like you're constantly on edge, and then when you actually manage to get the drop on somebody who doesn't know you're there,
you get the drop on somebody. They have really good items. You loot those items. You make it to extraction, and you get to put those items into your little store page or something. You store it, and the feeling is just so good.
So speaking of, I'll kind of start sort of, because we've kind of already talked with Jarinator about this, about his feeling, but we'll jump onto that. But I want to kind of expand a little bit more with you, Space Coder. Do you think Star Citizen's current loot system is ready for something like an extraction shooter sort of experience?
No. Obviously, no.
I agree.
God, no.
I agree.
So,
I mean, I see what CIG are trying to do, and I understand that you would want to appeal to that sort of extraction shooter audience, because CIG are very combat oriented. They like combat. It looks good. It's action, and it's pretty much the only thing they are able to do right now. With very little effort, you just put something semi-valuable somewhere, and someone's gonna fight over it eventually. What to me doesn't make sense is that they have completely given up on reputation with this. They have completely given up on puzzles. They have given up on any kind of navigation, any kind of lore. They were just like, yeah, you need to find tokens that unlock better rooms. Can I
interject real quick?
Go for it.
Personal anecdote: playing Everspace 2, I love the puzzles in Everspace 2, where you have an objective. You have this just because Everspace 2 has kind of like the Diablo-esque loot system where you have like, oh, you can find the same gun, but the same gun you can find can have higher rarity and whatnot. Therefore, it does more damage, fires faster, is better, right? Higher DPS. So you always want to find these loot boxes in the world and open them up. But you have to figure out how to open loot boxes. It's not always just get a key, insert into loot box, and you get it. Sometimes you have to solve a little puzzle. You have to figure out where the power plant is to power the generator that opens the loot box. And sometimes you need to turn on multiple power generators, or you need to turn on a mining laser to bust open an asteroid.
Turn off these power nodes in a specific sequence, so you have to fly from one to the other.
Yeah. And so it's I like the puzzles. Some of them are pretty simple, but it's engaging gameplay. And I would love to grab Chris Roberts by the ears and see this. Just shove his face at a computer screen and say, this! Put this in your game, please. This is good.
Honestly, Vertigo, I think
proven so
it
many
would
times
work in a single-player game.
Yeah. Go ahead.
But like they've proven so many times that they actually can do these puzzles, because we have jump puzzles, we have the traversal puzzles with the crash sites. Why do I have to find tokens? It's like the least imaginative way to do progression.
I was talking about that Reclaimer mission they had over by ArcCorp. I can't remember the name of it, but you had to find the captain who was dead inside of a crate.
Yeah.
And you either have to turn off the obvious solution. The solution that CIG wanted you to do was turn off the gravity, and then you 0G EVA up to the guy. You click on his body, you get a data stick, and then you have to go over to Arc 1 to turn the data stick in.
Pride of Arliss.
The very pig-headed, like, I'm not going to do it the way they want me to do it was I built myself a stack of crates, and then I just jumped over to the guy and then clicked on his body.
Yeah.
That's the thing is
the
that
Pride of Arliss ship.
The Pride of
Yes,
Arliss, yeah.
Pride of Arliss. Yeah.
The thing is that like it's clear that with Squadron they want to do like Half-Life-esque rope puzzles and jump puzzles and stuff like that. But I agree. I think I agree with you with you there, Space Coders. Like they have all these different great open world options to approach different processes, and they are able to do so. But they seem to be
refuse to do it.
Well, why?
They
why
just
tokens?
blatantly ignore the option.
Yeah, it seems
I
weird.
mean, I have a theory on sort of why recent development in Star Citizen has kind of been going the way it is.
Okay.
It is kind of tinfoil hat.
Okay.
But bear with me. So, for the past 2-ish years, lots of game companies have had massive layoffs.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Shit's been bad.
Oh,
and among all of this, CIG has been plucking those who got laid off.
Yeah.
A ton of them. And now there's a lot of people coming in from different MMOs, different single player games, blah, blah, blah. And now these people, and it's not just developers, it's managers, it's product owners, that kind of stuff. And now these people who are not knowledgeable, let's call it, but it's like, they haven't played Star Citizen, they haven't been with the project for a very long time. They go in and they start bringing in these sort of outside ideas, and then we end up with tokens to get loot. Because yes, that's
honestly, like having card keys to open up a door, like tokens or card keys, that's like a Doom thing that's like been around forever. I don't really dislike that idea. Like, in order to get the token, you have to do a little puzzle. Then you get the token, you walk over to the door, you open it up.
Yeah. If it's not just killing someone and looting the token from their body, but also having to do other non-combat things to get, but it's a token is basically just the tool to get you to progress to the other side. It can be anything you want. It could be like a valve that you need to turn manually to open a door, or it can be a key, or it can be like the multi-tool attachment with a cutter. So whatever it is, but if the actual method of gaining that tool is unsatisfactory, then that will be the issue.
What do we think is the probability of this not being just shoot a guy and take a thing off him, like take a key card off of him?
I mean, we already kind of have that for the consignment missions, right?
Yeah.
You shoot the guy, and there's like, data pad on the guy.
Mm.
We had that for what was it? Siege of Orison. You shoot the guy, he's got a pad. You use pad key
as I was saying, like I was trying to say, Siege of Orison had the opportunity to create this much more engaging thing other than shoot guy, get key card.
So
does all gameplay just boil down to shoot guy, get thing?
Kind of.
Depending on it's all about, because CIG knows who plays what and how many people play what, and they're gonna create more of what people play most of, and if it's mostly people, should guy get key card, they're gonna create more of missions that are should guy get key card.
Yeah, but they also don't create a lot of
bias.
Yeah, because they only make those missions, so those people play them, so they do it. They don't make puzzle jump missions like. How many people?
Good point.
Oh my God. Let me just light your argument on fire. Like, why did CIG take away elimination from Arena Commander, and then add in team elimination, which nobody plays? Right? Like, we're gonna add more missions people play. CIG can see their statistics.
Yeah.
Right. I feel the opposite. I feel like CIG is kind of grasping at straws here if they're just ripping off other games. They're just like, well, we're going to add to Star Citizen to increase engagement. I don't know, Tarkov, I guess.
I mean, it's okay. So two things. We will know more about this because they will specifically talk about this next ISC.
Yeah.
So this is the topic they're specifically talking about at next ISC. So we'll know more hopefully by the time you watch this, will look up like a bunch of idiots and for thinking that CIG is just doing a bunch of tokens.
We know exactly what's going to happen in Star Citizen. We are the experts in Star Citizen. CIG listens to us to get ideas of what to put in Star Citizen. So we're giving.
Why
you
do
the
you
true
think
shit
we're getting a poop mechanic?
Because CIG are a bunch of
Speaking
trolls.
I say this
We're
on
gonna
every
have a wipe with every patch, Jarge.
CIG, you know my email, you know where I live. You can even underpay me.
You have my mailing address. You have my credit card number.
Please. But let's move on to the like, you know, we've talked a little bit about the system itself, and like the token system seems kind of weird, and the current loot system doesn't really work. I'll start with you on this one, Darj. What kind of loot do you think CIG needs to do in order to make this sort of experience work? Like, what would make you go, I have to do this because I need to get that? What kind of thing would that be?
It's unique stuff that you can't buy in any of the shops, because it was custom made by, you know, in lore, that team of people that you're defeating, which is something that kind of hinted at with the Kid Bashed. No, it's not even the subscriber gear. The Kid Bashed stuff.
Shotgun. There you go.
Yeah.
Booms.
And
that's subscriber gear that should be in the loot pool. I find the ammunition for that thing everywhere. But I haven't found the actual gun itself, even though it's trash.
What is it? The SMG, the SMG that's clearly based on a multi-tool. Or whatever it is. You know, they had the ISC a couple of weeks ago where they showed off basically just, you know, the ingenuity of Pyro, because they can't buy guns from a shop, so they have to, you know, scrape everything together. Stuff like that, but not just for guns, for armor, for ship components, ship guns, just even ships, just like the is it the shipjackers from Squadron 42 that have the Cutlass and the Mustang that look all weird,
all the different weird ones.
More stuff like that basically isn't a manufactured thing, but it is a crafted thing. And then potentially also, you know, but after we get the blueprints, that then everybody will be able to be making those anyway. So for now, they could introduce that sort of all the assets they've created, all the art, as a very custom loot drop that you can't get in a shop. That is because there are a lot of people that need to have every single of every item, and that's how they're going to get those kind of people to play those missions.
Okay, Space Coder. How would you, like, what kind of loot do you think would be worth something like this?
Well, I mean, eventually we're going to have crafting, and crafting you're going to have multiple tiers of everything, which let us skip over the fact how very MMO-like that is.
I mean, CIG is...
I heard that, I'm like, oh, so it's like World of Warcraft.
It is. But I mean, look, if you think about it, CIG has basically just said, this is an MMO. We're going to move towards the MMO style things. You're going to get MMOs.
We already knew crafting was coming for a long time.
That's fine. So I guess you could find the blueprints for the higher tier items or the materials for the higher tier items. Until that comes in, you are left with the existing pool of items, none of which are exceptional. Like, once Pyro comes in, railguns are not going to be rare anymore because you can just buy them in Pyro.
Can you? We'll see if you leave them in the shop, or they'll take them out. Like this. Remember, CIG loves to tell us stuff until they change it. With like the bed respawns. Remember that tier 3 beds?
Oh yes.
Couldn't respawn for a longest time, and then suddenly, like, they changed their position on it.
Yeah. So you know,
if you talk to Jake though, no,
they never did. Yeah,
they never did. It was a fever dream made up by people like us and spread throughout the community as fact.
Except for the fact that it was also said by the like head of development himself, that said that was always a temporary solution. That, you know.
Well, at least they got their story straight before they pushed it out. But you know, the thing that could help with sort of the worthwhileness, is that even a word, of loot, just add credit chips. Just like put money in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just straight up money.
That's why there's ATMs.
They showed off a physicalized credit chip, like the model for it, and that was like 4 years ago.
It was cool.
To say. And I was just like, we have ATMs in the game, and not doing anything with them.
They even asked about it at a CitizenCon, to the lore team, like, are there physical credit sheets? And most of the lore team was like, and then Will Weisbaum just stood up and said, yes, there should be physical credit sheets, but it's not our decision. It's the gameplay decision. It was clear that the lore team was like, there should be, but they're not going to say anything because it's clear that someone in the dev team doesn't want them. And Will Weisbaum was like,
but
fuck
it's clear
you.
from a lore perspective that, it's clear from a lore perspective that in Pyro, because you're away from the UEE network that covers all the financials, Pyro, you will only be able to buy stuff with physical credit sheets.
Yeah.
No, you'd be using hard currency, or you'd be using barter system.
What do you think a credit sheet is? It's hard currency.
Yeah.
But it's not. We don't accept Republic credits here. Only money. Only real money.
Banu bucks.
So that's what I would do. Just chuck a bunch of money in there.
Okay.
And that will keep people happy for a patch cycle or two until everybody's rich again.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to find a way to exploit it.
A separate currency that you can only get in Pyro because you can't even buy it as UEC on the website.
That's Banu bucks.
Banu bucks.
Yeah,
it's going to be a separate currency.
So it's like it's like the opposite of every currency that every MMO does, which is like a special one you can only get on the website. This will be one that you can only get in game.
It's more valuable and all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
basically like reputation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is what the full point of reputation was.
Yes.
Vertigo, what would make you
give up on reputation?
They keep mentioning it every time. Like every time about a function that's coming, it's going to be reputation gated. Like someone in chat even said that the weapon shop in Pyro that's supposed to be rep locked. If you're not in good standing with the gang that hold that station, you won't be able to buy stuff from there. That would be a very good approach to it. Yeah.
Or I just get someone else to buy it for me. I pay them extra.
Yeah.
Well, yes, that's just how real life works.
How about you, Vertigo?
Because my friend is the owner's cousin, so he'll get me in. You know that. Yeah, that always works.
Vertigo, what would make you actually want to participate in this sort of these sorts of events? If like what items would you need?
You remember that golden ticket event everybody hated?
Yeah. That everyone hated, that a lot of people liked. Everyone didn't hate it. It was, people were loud about it, but everyone participated in it because it was fun. You know?
I like the idea of the golden ticket event where you get the ability to purchase or rent a rare ship for free. Like, no credits, you just get, here's a hull C or something temporarily. Here's a full suit of rare armor that subscriber gear, a full suit of a specific subscriber gear.
Vertigo.
What?
Live fire gift cards.
Well, see, that was the
kind of like a Saba bucks.
I'm gonna.
We have enough currencies in Star Citizen.
Here's the thing. Here's my pitch, which may be the thing they're going down, which I don't know. Is whatever you get is at the end of the final room that they talk about. Whatever that is going to be a MacGuffin. And for those of you who don't know what a MacGuffin is, it's basically an item that has no value to a story. It's just the main thing that everybody wants. It's not the point of the story. It's just that, like the Maltese Falcon is the
kind of like that MacGuffin from the Last Jedi or whatever it was.
Yeah, the Seth thing, the Sith thing,
the Sith thing, yeah.
What is it? The briefcase in
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction is a great example of a MacGuffin. So like you get the MacGuffin, and then you can trade the MacGuffin in for a list of special items that you can only get at this shop.
Banu lock boxes.
Yeah, like the Banu lock boxes. So it's less of an actual you're earning something, but you're getting a kind of an item that you can exchange for very rare loot at a location. So you get
that would be a very good way to circumvent the horrible loot system.
Yeah,
because you're like, oh, I can actually pick something I want out of a list of I don't know how many things.
Yeah.
What I'm assuming CIG is going to do, they're going to do exactly the same as what they did for the golden ticket event. You're going to open the box up, and it's going to be a golden ticket, and you go to the web store and you get to buy something.
I could see something like that, but I mean, I think
you literally get a 10% off coupon in one of the loot boxes.
I would hate that, and I think that would be kind of lame.
That's exactly what I think. That's why they would do it, because deep down in my gut, I hate it too. Yeah. So I know CIG's going to do it.
If they did it for in-game shops, that'd be fine, but for actual website like the Blood Store, I didn't like that at all.
Or they're going to give you like a free 1 month of. They give you a subscriber coupon for 1 month free.
Mm-hmm.
But you still have to you have to give them your credit card details, and then it becomes a
but you can choose. But you can choose depending on what the item is. You can choose when to apply it.
Yeah. I mean, I also think I think it's clear in my mind that the actual end goal of this is going to be schematics, blueprints.
Oh yeah.
It's blueprints for crafting.
You're going to be making stuff.
Yeah,
CIG basically told us CitizenCon last year that you can craft everything.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, wait a minute, ships? And then we went back, I had to watch it again, and yes, ships were specifically called out as crafting.
Yeah.
And I'm just
but it would have to be you do that in a disused or abandoned ship factory. You get a ship blueprint. Or a gun factory, you get a gun blueprint.
Yeah.
CIG told us we're going to have flare-owned space stations at some point, so you're going to be able to own like a factory of some kind.
And we
don't know how big their base building is going to scale to.
Who knows what's going to be in these disused section of stations? My guess is, because I've had a theory for a long time that the first versions of crafting we're going to get is weapon and armor modifications. So.
And it could be like the Star Wars, where like a holocron can contain anything amount of data.
Yeah.
Right. Holocrons were extremely valuable. They're basically fitting the size of your hand, and they would contain like jump gate routes, star charts and whatnot.
The entire history of a species in like less than a kind of thing. So yeah.
Could have like ship blueprints for an out of date ship that's like the Hornet Mark 1.
Yes.
Congratulations, you found a holocron with a Hornet Mark 1 blueprint in it. Now you get to make it yourself.
Or Starlink Memory Core from BattleTech or STC from 40K.
From
like,
Warhammer.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that's really where they're going with these, because that would make sense, is to do these dungeons, because these are dungeons as well. I mean, I talk about Starcraft and that kind of stuff.
I just hope it's
contextual,
so you don't go to to a location that's clearly like a food production factory, and you get a mech suit.
Yeah.
Blueprint there.
What if it's taken over by a bunch of pirates and they've repurposed it into?
Yes, but that's context.
Well, yeah, of course.
That's still the context.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move over to the last little bits of this. We're just talking about the asteroid bases, because we've talked a little bit about the asteroid bases, but what are these asteroid bases likely in your mind going to be used for beyond what they've specifically said? Because they specifically said it was like missions and exploration. So what would you like to see them being utilized for? I'll start with you, Darsh, on this one, since you haven't been
already.
All right, I can go with Vertigo. We go with Vertigo. Vertigo.
No, I think the Space Coder.
Space Coder.
Done yet.
Space Coder.
I need a refill.
All right. Well, I mean, obviously there's going to be combat. That's first thing.
Obviously.
That's always going to happen. I agree with what you said at the start. It's literally going to be a bunker in space.
Mm-hmm.
But I would actually like to see non-combat variants of this. So either have like a abandoned asteroid base, and you can find like, if it's a mining base, you can find like crates of ore. Or if it was like research outpost, you can find tools, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I would also like to see maybe like a settled type of asteroid base. Like, it's, we don't want to live on the main pyro stations because they smell
kind
like piss.
What is that outpost on Hurston that has like a bunch of, not shipjack, have
the dusters stuff. Yeah.
They have like a little oil derrick.
Yeah.
Thing drilling platform they live on, and occasionally you get missions to go down there and kill them all. But they're a neutral faction. They don't hurt nobody.
So something like that, where you can like go in. They have a bunch of them on Microtech as well. You can go in. There's a shop. You can buy some stuff. Other activities out of this. Maybe you could have a bigger one where it's more of a distribution center type thing. Lots of things CIG can do with this, but I think kind of that. It's a bunker / outpost in space is a good start, and they can see kind of, because they have that, what do you call it, overlay system, so they can create one location template and just dress it differently for different mission types and different content. So I think they can just start with that and expand on the overlays and see what they can do content wise in there.
Okay. Darsh?
Yeah. Sorry, missed the question.
The question is like, what would you like to see for the asteroid bases? How are they going to be used, and how do you like to
something
see
that's definitely not gonna give us, but that's like from my technical standpoint, is like they have in lore, they have the ability to do funky stuff with gravity because they're not tied to a gravity of a planet on an asteroid base. But I would love to have hangar bases that you can walk on all walls or on the ceiling, just because there's no gravity inherently to the location, so you can put gravity plates everywhere. But I have a feeling
like it's the future at space. You have gravity plating, so you can have like a cylinder, and you can walk all the way around that cylinder any direction you want.
I have
because
a
you have
feeling,
gravity plating.
Yeah, I have a feeling that human gravity tech isn't as advanced as to allow that. So you only have unidirectional ones. Because we have seen something similar in the Squadron 42 trailer for the abandoned Xi'an ship, where it was basically a cylinder you could walk up the wall. So for human stuff, I kind of doubt it would be fun, but other than that, I really don't. I understand the appeal of a. Wait, are we talking asteroid bases that players can own, or just as random locations you find?
Random
I think
locations.
they're going to be random locations. I don't think we have ownership just coming in. Yeah.
I mean, what stops them from doing like abandoned alien bases / ruins with this?
Anything. It would needs to release Squadron 42 first.
True.
That's what's stopping them.
Yeah. But what I would like to guess is the completely abandoned stuff for a more like horror aspect to the game. Not just you found someone's base and now do stuff at it to try to kill them or steal stuff from them, but just like completely abandoned stuff that has like environmental storytelling to it. You could figure out who lived there, what they were doing, from stuff they leave behind and stuff like that. That's something I would like to see more environmental storytelling with these locations.
Okay. Vertigo.
I mean, obviously, I'm thinking like underground facility. Well, just take the Kovlux missions where you have to go around, and some of the Kovlux missions, not besides the private PI wanted mission, which is like I would love to see that again in Star Citizen if voice acted. You go around, read stuff, try to figure out what's going on.
Preach it.
Love to see that. Tessa Bannister coming back. Never not remember her.
Every time someone mentions Tessa Bannister, her return is postponed by another month.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So, I mean, obviously, like they have Kovlux missions where you go in, you find a crate, and you bring it back somewhere. So obviously, we're gonna have retrieval missions, we're gonna have disposal missions where you go in, you clean out some trash, clean up like a murder site or something, tractor beam some stuff around, blow up some drug, boxes that are using it for storage for drug boxes. They'll probably have like what I imagine. If they don't have gravity, they'll probably have like a ship cargo plate, and they'll probably have like stuff stacked on that plate, so it's easier for you to interact with. So they don't have to worry about having it floating around and banging into stuff when you show up. So you could like destroy it that way. I don't think we'll have EVA, FPS AI in EVA when it comes out for 4.0, right? It's slated for 4.0.
Yes, this is 4.0. Yeah.
CIG, you're more than free to prove me wrong on this one. Like, FPS AI and EVA. Let's make it happen. Let's make them really dangerous. Like you went over to security post Karai and jump out the back of your buddy's cutlass to EVA into security. You think you're getting in there sweet? Nope, the AI is coming right at you now.
Yeah,
that's actually a very good point, because everything we've seen about development for AI pathfinding for NPCs has all been floor-based navigation tiles.
Well, let me break it to you this way.
No floor in 0G.
Here, let me break it to you this way. We have spaceships, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the spaceships can. I have to stop myself here because
they can fly.
Sometimes the AI can avoid running into things.
Yes.
So why can't we just use the spaceship AI for the EVA AI.
Do I need to tell both of you that this is actually something they've already been doing, and they've talked about it in monthly reports multiple times, and had videos actually in monthly reports that showed them doing
that would
the
actually
same thing.
require me to read those monthly
I
reports.
know.
No, it doesn't. Just watch
my
stream,
my stream, and I actually make them as little videos. So you got to watch my videos. You know,
capsules,
I know.
Paul,
Capsules. Yes. But yeah, no, I agree. Like I think they can do it. It's obvious that they have it for Squadron. If they have that AI in theirs for Squadron, I could see it being put in Star Citizen. Personally, I love the idea of horror. I love the idea. Give me the alien isolation experience in a base. You know, like
when's the movie coming out?
The next movie? I don't know.
Romulus. Yeah, that looks like it's basically just isolation as a movie.
I don't know when, but Chris Roberts is a big fan of aliens. Like that's it's clear. That's one of his big inspirations. So like, just there's a big talented team, big beautiful talented team of artists and engineers who are making 3 weeks that are making creatures for Star Citizen. Get them to create some sort of apex alien mother predator, and have you go into a station to retrieve an item, and then everything gets locked out, and now you have to fucking escape or evade or kill the alien queen before you can escape. You know, why not?
And the prize you get for that is a better site.
Yeah. Well, it's just a mission that you're supposed to retrieve it, and you don't know what is in that mission's going to be. Is it going to be you show up with a bunch of pirates? Does it show up you have to do a social encounter, or is it it's inhabited by a rogue AI or an alien that wants to eat your face off? You know.
So basically, Mass Effect side missions.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Take that and just rant like those sorts of ideas, but in the bunker missions. Because the problem with bunker missions right now is they're all the same. You show up, you shoot some people, you get it, and you leave. You shoot enough people to leave, or you get a box and you leave, or you shoot a specific person and leave. The freaking best variation of a bunker mission is the intel raid. The intel raid is wonderful and glorious. I'm a big fan of the Payday style of having to like sit there and get things, like that sort of thing.
There's another game that I want to boot up and just grab Chris Roberts by the ear and just shove him into the monitor and say this in Star Citizen.
Well, and you can also do something similar with like you and I both love this game, which is Deep Rock Galactic, which is a similar idea. Collect certain item, go to a specific place, collect certain item, and leave. And that's, you could do those sorts of things.
Get attacked by swarms of aliens while you're trying to collect that crap.
Yeah.
You see, all of you want to like shove Chris Roberts into monitors and show him games. I just want to take a bunch of books about UI design and user experience.
Yes, that too.
Just like whack. Do you get it? No, whack.
But I love those ideas, and I think they can definitely go for some more variety beyond just, you know, looter shooter extraction stuff, you know, especially with the inspirations behind Star Citizen. All right, I think as always, when we have a Darge and a Vertigo and a Space Coder captain's table, we answered 3 questions, and it took us an hour and 15 minutes.
Yes,
we're actually very terse.
Yeah,
this is actually pretty short. This thing's moving pretty quickly.
Look, I always say this. My first show was like 4 hours.
Yeah,
and it ended at 3 a.m. for me, so we're good.
Yeah, I mean, both you and Darge are in similar time zones now, so like I'll know it's
probably
the bad
same time zone. Yeah.
Yeah, so I know it's be bad when both of you are falling asleep.
That's why I had a coffee before we started.
Hey, at least it's better than it was before, because before shows started at midnight my time.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, look, I am hopped up on caffeine and antidepressants. I'm good.
Oh, there's a TikTok.
Sunset Pale Ale.
There's a
that's what I'm hopped up. Oh, that's what I'm hopped up on. Yeah.
Hopped up on.
Please see yourself out.
There's a TikTok that my wife likes, which is this guy going tacos and sushi, tacos and sushi, tacos and sushi, and antidepressants. It's
wait, are we getting secondhand exposure to tech talk right now through Paul. It's just third-hand exposure.
Yes, third-hand exposure.
I feel like I should be wearing a mask for this stream.
My morning routine is make coffee, take antidepressants, flush them with coffee, feel better.
Yeah. With that, we're going to move on to the question and answer section, though. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and I am still doing these as kind of individual sections. So if you did watch this as an individual pulled-out section, there will be the full VOD will be available on be above Darja's head. You can watch the full thing if you need to. I'm going to experiment with the idea of making it unlisted for now. And so it'll be mostly for those of you who watched it. And if you are looking for it, you'll find it on the playlist. It'll be on a playlist. But hopefully you'll find this through the YouTube algorithm and then watch the section, which will have the little timestamp for the Q&A start. So you can just go there and listen to the Q&A. But you can also join us live at twitch.tv/TheAstroPub, youtube.com/TheAstroPubLive, at Twitch at Saturdays at 4 p.m. Eastern, which is like 1 p.m. Pacific, and it's like, 9 a.m., 10 a.m. UTC? I don't know, but it's not butt crack early in the morning for folks in the EU. So
time zones, man.
Time zones.
Just fucking.
Yeah, we should cancel that.
Yeah. With that,
let's get rid of daylight savings times first, and then we'll work on time zones.
Let's start with that.
Yeah, but you expect the politicians to agree on any of that? Come on.
With that,
you gotta start with something easy.
With that, thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black. We'll be right back, chat. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right. All right. So yeah, we're. Chat, your question should be able to be asked right now. So you can use the coin to ask questions if you need to. You can use the coin to ask questions now. It's up there now. So. Welcome back to the question and answer session. That's so Raven.
Nice.
I like that shirt.
Unfortunately, you can't get it. It's JRDF only. We were told by CIG you can use it for personal...
Oh, you think it's JRDF only, but I could probably get it some
Redbubble.
Shop.
It's already in Redbubble somewhere.
If it is, I'm going to have some bad words with my friend who made these, because he's the only one who has the design.
So this is the question and answer session. If you have questions, feel free to use the coin in the chat to the pub coin. You can redeem it, and then just type in your question, put it in there. If you're on YouTube, you can ask questions using the brackets question. I'll try to find it if you have a chance to. But let's get started with QPan. QPan has the first question. We only have 2 questions, which we're gonna have more here shortly. But yeah,
we're gonna be here for hours.
Yes. QPan asks, besides Star Citizen, what other games have you been playing or looking forward to? I'll start because I've got a lot. I mean, I know Virgo does too, but it's Hot Mech Summer for me. So it's a new tradition that I've started this year. That it's going to be a tradition where I play mech games over the summer, because Star Citizen always dies over the summer, and my other love is Mecha. And so I always like to find games that I can't really play a lot during the year to play when the time's a little lower. So I've been playing MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries, which is modified, tons of mods, which is good. I'll be
also good choice.
Yeah, I've been and I'm going to be playing Titanfall in
which one?
Titanfall 2.
Okay, good choice.
The campaign. That'll be on
campaign, of course.
The campaign on Friday, because I'm gonna do a charity stream then, and then I'm gonna also be releasing a timeline for the Titanfall universe this week as well, for like the lore stuff things. So it's very cool. It's because Apex Legends decided to like add context to lore. We actually have a lot of the information we need that we weren't getting in the Titanfall games. So, and then there are also, what is it? Space Marine 1 I'm going to play again, because I haven't played it on stream, and Space Marine 2 is coming out in September.
Oh, yes.
And then MechWarrior 5 Clans is coming out in October. So I'm looking forward to all of those.
I'm looking at Steam right now. There's also something called War Robots.
Ooh, I haven't heard of that.
And it looks like more of an arcadey mech game.
Well, there's also Mecha Break, which is a game that's like a kind of free to play sort of hero shooter that they're working. I've talked with those folks. It's just pretty cool. So, how about you, Vertigo? What have you been up to, and what are you looking forward to?
Cookie Clicker, Everspace 2. Like I'm dead serious about Cookie Clicker. I discovered this game, and it's great for my ADHD, but I guess it's great for my productivity. It's horrible for productivity if you have ADHD.
Yeah,
it's one of those games you just kind of have to like. It's got one button. For those of you who haven't seen Cookie Clicker, you have this big cookie in the upper left-hand corner you can click on, and you get cookies every time you click on it. And then the game devolves from there, where you discover you have the stock market that has cookie ingredients on it, and then you have a farm where you can raise crops and crossbreed those crops to improve your cookie clicking per second. And then you have like spells you can cast, which improve your ability to make cookies per second. And then you have like demons that take over the world, and that is not as bad as you think it is, because the demons help you produce more cookies per second for some reason. But it's bad for everyone else.
Venture Capital.
Yes.
Adventure Capitalist is another one of those clicker games. It's really good.
I'm starting to see why my ex-girlfriend played the shit out of that game.
Oh, my wife used to play the crap out of that thing.
The demons only help you make oatmeal raisin cookies, not the chocolate chip ones. So,
so yeah, Cookie Clicker is an interesting game. I bought it for $2 on Steam. Like, I can highly recommend it if you have ADHD, because it's one of those games you can boot up and just throw into the background, and while you're waiting for something to happen, like you could just alt tab while you're quantum traveling across Star System, and Star Citizen. You can just alt tab out and just click the cookie a little bit, mess with your factory, and then alt tab back in. Or you could just stare at it while you're listening to a podcast, and like it has stuff you can do actively, like little golden cookies will pop up every so often. You click on them, and something really big happens. And then you can like chain a bunch of those together, and even more big stuff happens. But we've also been playing. I bought Secret of Mana.
Ooh.
Remaster. There was like 3 of them. There's like a trilogy. There's like 3 ones, and I bought like the trilogy off. So I've been going back and playing Secret of Mana just for like nostalgia. Big ol' hit there. Fired up Project Wingman again, because honestly, Project Wingman has one of the best soundtracks. Oh my god! I mean, Ace Combat 7 has a pretty good soundtrack, but Project Wingman kicks its ass in terms of soundtrack. We did Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, and I swear to God, I hate it more than Dark Souls 2.
Is it because it's too hard?
It's difficult because it's From Software, but they have some really weird decisions where every other right-hand turn will have, to the left of it, will be an item over a cliff, and you'll turn to get the item, you'll turn to the left to get the item, and then from the right side, a guy will hit you in the back of the head and shove you off the cliff, and you'll die. Like, every goddamn time it feels like that happens. And they keep reusing this trick over and over and over again. Eventually, like Pavlov dog, you see the item sitting out in the open, and you look the opposite direction, like, oh, there's a guy over there. Like, how did I know that? Probably because you've done that trick 10 times before. Recycling enemies constantly. There was actually a dungeon. This is the first time I've seen this in a From Software game, and I've played a lot of From Software games. There was a legacy dungeon where you went into, and there was a bunch of bloodstains in front of a wall. And you're like, okay, so there's something going on with this wall, like it's an invisible wall or something. You can hit it with a weapon, and it opens up, and it reveals like a secret passage or something. It's like Star Citizen. You just fall to the center of the planet and you die. That's what all the bloodstains were for. I swear to God, first time I've seen anything like that in a From Software game. Like, there's just a Gordon Ramsay clip of like Hell's Kitchen. It's fucking raw. I swear they were running out of ideas, and they just had to get something out the door. That's how I feel about Shadow of the Earth. Like, it's missing that je ne sais quoi from Software, that little bit of polish that just makes it something a little bit better.
They're too busy trying to make Armored Core 6 just that much better.
Yeah. Armored Core 6, I was honestly gobsmacked, probably because I was playing too much Star Citizen, but I was gobsmacked on how good Armored Core 6 was.
Armored Core 6 is the example of what FromSoft used to do really well with most of its mech games, because it didn't just do Armored Core. It also did Rust. Chrome Hounds was another game that they did. They've done a couple of kind of offshoots like that. And the one thing that you got to understand about FromSoft's mech games is that they give zero shits about how good the world looks in terms of its like super fine res detail. It always looks a little bit under res compared to what generation it should be, but the controls are tight as fuck. You feel exactly what the way you're moving is right.
Depending on which Armored Core you're playing, like certain Armored Cores are really faster than the others.
Yeah.
Like Armored Core 6 was super fast. So yeah, like the textures look kind of muddy when you get up and close, but you should be blazing through the level so fast you don't even notice the textures.
And it feels everything feels weighty and feels like consequential. Like you feel like, and for a company that's become known for Dark Souls, which has basically no real story except for kind of like underpinning, all Armored Core games are like Kojima decided to take acid. Like it's all the stories are all like
crazy.
They're all like Kojima level like political thrillers.
Kojima's already on acid. What the fuck are you talking about?
Double acid. It is
the brown acid.
Yeah.
Don't take the brown acid.
They're very like the storylines are kind of nuts, and the characters, it's always the same sort of, not the same character, but the same like mantle of the Raven.
Raven, yeah.
Yeah, and it's always very like political, but it's kind of like political sort of like they're kind of gesturing at the idea they're trying to get, because they don't like as if they're like being censored, but it's sent through this filter of like context. You have no idea what the fuck is going on, but they're just throwing the names at you because they expect you to understand what's going on. So,
well, the guy, the head guy, I think it's Hideo Mizaki.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember the guy. Mizaki is his last name, or his first. It's backwards. You go family name first, and then first name last. But Mizaki grew up playing Western-styled RPGs without being able to read English. So the plot was just impenetrable to him.
Yeah.
And that's how he writes a lot of his games, how they produce a lot of their games, is the plot is designed to be very mysterious and very, like, you have to really dig a lot to find what's going on. It's usually about the placement of corpses, item descriptions, and just, like, set dressings. Like, you have to kind of figure it out the hard way.
Atmospheric storytelling. The stuff that CIG does actually do pretty decent well at. Like, yeah. Yeah.
No, it's just like people talking about like, oh, you think Kojima's the weird storyteller in Japan? It's like the thing is, Kojima doesn't know how to do people. He knows concepts.
Yeah.
And weird stuff, but he doesn't know how to do people. Why is this high-ranking government official in a suit wearing an edgelord carbon fiber mask on his face? It's like nobody does
cool.
this.
This looks cool. Yeah.
Why?
That's Kojima for you.
Why is
exactly?
why?
He doesn't know how people run. I would expect this from some villain in a lair. Just, give me that. But like you're in a suit, you're in a meeting, and you have this edgelord mask on your face when nobody else does. It's like, why?
It reminds me of that remember Kick-Ass?
Yeah.
Where the villain for Kick-Ass's villain, like he wore like BDSM gear.
Yeah, sure.
He could.
Yes, but that's fine. This is the head of state in a board meeting about export tariffs.
Yes, that's Kojima.
Yeah. Welcome to Kojima. Just
he also
bizarre.
He puts what is the Gorave? I can't say the words, but like basically like pinup models all over his games. He has a character in the first Metal Gear Solid game who you could possibly kill, who ends up in Metal Gear Solid 4 marrying one of the major like reoccurring characters.
Meryl.
He ends up marrying Meryl. But he's like this, like he's like name's like Jimmy or something like that. But he's in every Metal Gear Solid game as like a guard.
He has like an irritable bowel syndrome. He always has to go to the restroom. That's his thing.
That's his thing. Like it's this. One of my favorite of his characters is Senator Armstrong, because
I love Senator Armstrong.
Because Senator Armstrong is effectively Dick Cheney. But if Dick Cheney was the size of Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was Mr. Olympus, like he's got like
built like a brick shit house and a very Republican.
Yes. He's all about he is the not even close to the subtlety. He's no subtlety. He is what Kojima thinks conservatism is, which is just get swole, inject yourself.
No. American conservatism.
Yes, American conservatism.
Metal Gear Rising is like America through the vision of like a Japanese person.
Yeah.
But dropping acid.
But
like here's what America would be like if a Japanese like interpreted it.
He injects himself. He gets swole. He ejects himself with nanomachines,
son.
and then fist fights the protagonist in an Afghani airbase over trying to make the world end in never ending
go to war because he wants the world to go to war because that's how you
make money,
improve the economy.
Yeah.
And he's going to use that to get elected as president, and then he's going to end the war economy once he gets elected as president.
He kind of has a point, though. The only thing better for what's the one of the rules of acquisition? War is good. No,
war is bad for business.
War is
good
like
for money.
46. Yeah, war is good for good. War is good for business. And the next one is peace is good for business.
Peace is good for business. Yeah.
No, everybody gets those confused.
You do realize this is all you guys' fault, right? For what you did in 1945.
Yes, of course it is.
Yeah,
that's why we like it.
Oh my God.
My Lockheed
that was the end game all along.
Anyways, we were talking about what video games are you playing?
Yeah.
Let's get back to the question, Paul.
Space Coder, what games have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing a shit ton of D&D.
Okay.
Because I found like 4 separate D&D groups, so that's what I do.
Just D&D or Pathfinder?
So we're doing D&D, but there's also this like Czech offshoot of D&D where they have like their own system and their own classes. It's really good. It's like more role play based than tactical. So I'm playing like 2 of those. I'm gonna be DMing a new one next week probably. So that's gonna be 5. Yeah, I have a lot of documents and I think I need a database.
Yeah,
I have reached that point where I think I'm gonna do a database.
So you can keep track of all of the events that are going on in the different different campaigns and your characters, and then your own DM and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's how far it has gone. Also, I've been painting a shit ton of Warhammer because plastic crack, and I'm almost done with all my Black Templar, so I've got a Baneblade, and I'm like, well, you know what? I would like some non-Imperials, so I'm gonna get some Necrons because that's the most terrifying thing in the galaxy that I can think of.
They're really easy to paint too because they're mostly just metallics, and you can hit all of them metallics. So
my favorite one was Spruicons.
Oh yes, the Spruicons.
Where you could use the sprues to like make Necrons, and you can paint those and they're termite legal because it's 100%
GW plastic.
GW plastic.
You know what's also easy to paint? The 1 to 500 ships from JRDF, like the Avenger that Paul has.
Yeah.
There you go.
They're very easy. They're very detailed.
So I got myself a Necron kill team, and I just like base paint with lead belcher and just a little dry brushing. I'm like, well, you know what? That looks pretty much done to me.
Yeah.
There you go.
My wife has we a while ago got like a year or 2 ago we decided to try to get into Age of Sigmar. So I got myself a Night Haunt army, and she got herself an army like a couple of boxes. And she got herself a Slaanesh, He Knights of Slaanesh. So like I'm like ghost. I just splash some like 2 or 3 paints on, and then I'm done. I'm like ghosts, and she's just like this is just like this tiny little symbol like in his nipple ring that I have to paint the right color to make it work. So I'm sitting here being like, I've got like 7 models done today. How are you? I'm like, I'm still working on 1. Shut the fuck up, Paul. So
you could have like how about dipped Tyranids?
I love those. Yeah, so we just
prime them and then get some varnish, dip them in the varnish, spin them around on a Dremel, and let them dry.
Yeah.
No, and then when I want to get angry, I play War Thunder because that game just makes me unreasonably angry.
I agree. Like War Thunder turned into a second job while I was trying to stream it, and I was just like, you know what? Fuck this battle pass. I'm done with this game.
I was like, you play the Russian tech tree, it's made out of paper. You play against the Russian tech tree, it's like pure Stalinium.
Yeah.
Can't fucking win. And then, when I want to chill, like this game, it really kind of gets my logistics child in me going, and that's workers and resources.
Ooh, okay. I've heard of this.
It's it's a game made by it's one guy from Slovakia, I think. And he's just like making a simulation of a socialist economy, and that it has models of all like the brutalist buildings that I know from my hometown. It's beautiful. And it has like all the vehicles and like all the little things and the bus stops and like the panel buildings. It's beautiful. I love it. And you have to like set up the logistics and tell everyone where to work and build food factories and export and like trade with the West and the East and the research, that kind of stuff. It's very cool.
It sounds like a version of Tropico. Like a
yes. It's like city skylines, but communism.
Okay. Like put Eastern Bloc.
Brutalist architecture. It's very gray, gray themed. I love it. It's like looking outside.
Well,
why would I go outside when I can play this?
I've played DayZ. I know where you live looks like. It's all green and zombies are everywhere, right? You know, it's great, but there's this green zombies everywhere. You have to just hit them in the head with an axe.
There's a bunch of zombies in front of the supermarket. They always ask me for change. But that's only because they used to be at the supermarket in the other district, but they got kicked out by cops, so now they are in my district.
Your district.
It's a whole thing.
Darsh, games.
Sure, games. Not much recently. Half-Life. What?
Half-Life 1.
Half-Life Alex, because
Half-Life Alex.
I got VR.
Nice.
On my third playthrough right now, I think, because the first one was, even though it was supposed to be the most important one, just completely mired with technical issues and shit like that. So then the second one, when I actually fixed those issues, then I speed ran, and now on the third one, I'm just doing like a walking simulator, just sniffing every texture and then just playing with everything. So
basically, playing it like a golden retriever. Oh, let's smell this dandelion. Oh, let's smell this corner over here. Oh, this tree smells like another dog.
Yeah, basically. When this show's over, I'm gonna immediately jump into Titanfall 2 because Paul was, talking about Hot Max Summer, made me re-download that game, and it's the game that made me realize that I was silently upgraded to gigabit internet. So
yeah, there we go. Enjoy the campaign. It's fun.
Yeah,
it's
fun. For like the third time or something like that.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about a game that I'm excited about. It's kind of like that very first one of the first arcade games, which was like Missile Command or something like that.
Yeah.
This is like from the first person view of that, but it kind of devolves into like a Papers, Please.
I know what you're talking about.
It's called PVKK.
Yeah.
And it has the best German name called Planetenverteidigungskanonen-Kommandant, or Planet Defense Cannon Commander.
Yes, it's
PVKK.
The aesthetics is like very like steampunk, or like diesel punk. It's got this kind of diesel
so
punk
basically,
aesthetic
you're
to it,
in a command center, and through the window, you see the cannon, and you're supposed to be firing this cannon to protect your planet from orbital strikes or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you go to sleep because your shift's over, and then you wake up because you're all stuck in the same room, and then weird lore starts popping through your feed, and it's just I don't know where they're going with it, but I'm super excited.
It's oh gosh, what is the name? Iron Lung, I think is the name of the game, where you stay in
that as well. Oh, Markiplier actually made a movie about that. It's coming out soon.
Yeah,
so Iron Lung was super enamored with the game.
Dave Zeminski, I think, did Iron Lung. He does a whole bunch of. I think it's Dave Zeminski, but he does a whole bunch of other games too. Like he's this little. He does a whole bunch of tiny little side projects every so often, little coding camp projects, and alongside Iron Lung, he made this huge list of other games. Like there's this like $10 humble bundle you can get that has a whole bunch of little tiny games that are like horror themed, similar to Iron Lung.
So
they're like really short though. They're like 30. You can set them down and play them in like 30 minutes.
This is like if you took Papers, Please and you slapped Iron Lung together, because you don't leave the room. You have to replace fuses and switches, and you have to kind of but like Iron Lung, you kind of like gather information through the surroundings around you, but you also kind of you're also learning like you're kind of not the good guys, but you kind of are the good guys. It's a sort of
the graphics are great. I think it's Unreal Engine 5, so it's not like super shitty. Like
is it Hooded Horse who's doing that one, or is it
Hold on. It is Bippin Bits.
Bippin Bits. Oh, I remember seeing someone promote it that I follow. That's
It's a PVKK. I think I posted it in the bar or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, while you were talking about it, I wish listed that because that looks fun. Also, Big Cannon? Come on.
Yes.
Big Cannon.
Big Cannon.
Big Cannon, yeah.
It had me at Big Cannon, pretty much.
Just Bippin Bits.
I'll post the link in chat.
Yeah, it looks good.
For the launch trailer. There you go.
All right. Let's move on to the next question. Knowledge Lambo asks, what systems will be coming after the big 3/4? So, things like Stanton, Pyro.
After Pyro, Nix, and Gauss.
Yeah.
I want to say.
What he's saying, what he means is like Stanton, we have Stanton, Pyro, Nix. Like those are like the three we know we're getting. What are the ones we're going to get after that? I've always said Bremen is, not Bremen, Castra. I think Castra is an easy win because it's just two planets. And
Magnus.
Magnus is another one.
The empty ones that are basically there just for random locations and resource gathering. Yeah, but the ones with major locations like Terra, Gauss, Lear, stuff like that, that's the bit later down the line. Yeah, and especially the Vandal and ones that's definitely after Squadron 42. Odin, yeah.
How about what do you think, Space
Just
Cutter?
because, yeah.
I would like to see Terra come in.
Mm-hmm.
Just so we kind of have, because we are going to have Pyro as kind of that law of the land kind of faction rule. Then you have Stanton where it's corporate. Like, yes, it's UEE, but it's corporate rule and, corporate be corporate. And then you have Terra, which is highly lawful UEE controlled space. So kind of have that progression and have sort of space for everyone. But I agree, it's technically probably going to be pretty difficult because Terra has kind of the big city stuff. I think they have multiple big cities. They also have some like alien ruins. They have different biomes that we have currently. And they have actually multiple colonized planets with different biomes again. So lots of work. And I don't think they can squeeze that in as a part of a larger group of systems coming in. So I think that's going to be a full release. Whereas but I agree on the empty ones. Would like to see Nix, but yeah, we will see. My big one is Terra.
All right. Next question comes from Jaded Cynic, who asks, besides games already mentioned, what games would you like to point CIG at for inspiration of content mechanics?
Everspace 2.
I would say honestly, I would still say, gosh, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's a co-op game where you kind of control one group. Gosh, I remember I played it recently, but I mean the Pulsar is the obvious one. Pulsar, Lost Colony is a great, because it really shows like how you could do a multi-crew kind of experience. But there was one that recently came out that I'm like this, but it wasn't directly space-based. I don't remember, but yeah.
Not in terms of content, but in the way you do EVA Adrift.
Okay.
Because currently, the way EVA runs, like the sort of semi-decoupled mode, I really can get used to it. Because you only keep forward momentum speed. If you strafe, you stop strafing. It's just like give me either control of everything or control of nothing, not just one direction and then. Adrift did the whole EVA decoupled EVA so much better, and I hope because they did say they were doing some tweaking of EVA soon. Hopefully we'll get more of a feeling of that soon.
And before EVA master modes.
Yeah. Shush.
Don't give them ideas.
No, I actually like master modes.
You don't want to change it again.
Just slightly fine tune what it is. You don't completely reinvent the wheel.
Just a little bit of tuning. It's all it needs. A little bit. slight mechanical changes that would.
But yeah, the actual core
hours.
of the concept is completely understandable to me. Yeah, which is fine.
Space Cutter?
And any other games? Don't know.
Any games you'd want people to point to, Space Cutter?
I just need whoever's in charge of UI at CIG to buy Elite Dangerous and just play that for like a month.
Yeah.
Honestly, okay. So everybody Star Citizen loves to shit on Elite Dangerous, but Elite Dangerous has some of the best visual and sound design I've seen. Like, I don't exactly like playing Elite Dangerous, but I love watching like people mine Elite Dangerous. Yeah, the spectacle of it.
Yeah. It's just
are you talking ship UI and MFDs, or are you talking like first person interaction or
interaction with screens specifically, and generally how they do ship heads up displays in Elite? Like, screen interaction is perfect. There's none of that semi-transparent ghosting effect bullshit that is everywhere in Star Citizen. And the next
was the last time I played it was identical.
And what infuriates me the most about screens in Star Citizen is that every once in a while you get a ship console that is directly below a light.
Yeah.
And when the camera zooms in onto the screen, you cannot read your screen anymore.
Because it's reflections.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We can't have any sort of anti-reflection coating.
No.
And also just
that
like,
technology
surge.
was lost in the Great War of 27-25.
Lost tech.
Literal surge of things, full screen interaction, like full screen stuff.
They in 320
controlling shit with my keyboard.
I think in 322 they made a big push about having matte screens to specifically fight these reflections, but I think they missed a couple every once in a while.
Well, I remember actually one of the lighting guys or the UI guys came and talked about it, and they were like, because of how default CryEngine is set up when we do like a reflective surface, there's like this one light source that's just always in that same spot. And so they were working around trying to get rid of that. I don't know how successful they were. They may have made it worse. God.
No, but those are the reflections, and potentially with the ray trace global illumination stuff that's coming in, because they are swapping out requiring screens and stuff like that to actually have a light entity inside them to emit the light. It'll actually be the screens that are emitting light, so hopefully that will create more of a diffuse sort of light, instead of, because right now if you have something that's not a light source that's still emitting light in the engine, you still have to put a light entity inside it, and it's going to be a point light source, and any reflection of that you'll see will be a circle. So yeah, that's what Ben Perry was talking about in the RTGI talk at CitizenCon, which is something I watch about once a month because it's my favorite panel from CitizenCon. It's so good. I love RTGI. It just looks.
All right, let's move on to the next question. Arch Ralph asks, what's your opinion or insight on the lack of security on the outpost for cargo missions?
That's probably intentional by CIG.
Yep.
It is. I think it's stupid. One of the things that they're trying to do is trying to put security with arbitrary security. So like, what is it? What do they call? It's the armistice zones. I hate armistice zones. I think armistice zones were made sense for the situation we were in, but we're going into a situation with armistice zones.
They make sense while we still just have standard. Like, I don't think we're ever going to get rid of hard armistice zones where you can't pull out a firearm and shoot somebody.
Yeah.
I think we'll always have to have those in like newbie areas. Like,
yes.
For new players to prevent people just going down there and just camping the newbies and can't get anywhere and they quit the game. I think we'll always have to have them in some way in Star Citizen. But those will eventually go away for like mode of stand when our spawn choices of spawn points will change.
I think we need to get rid of them for like outposts. Like, because especially since CIG has done, like, how many times has CIG shown off their stupid missile system and the stupid guns for Pyro, for the defense turrets for Pyro? I have seen that goddamn, like, like mech warrior missile pod that they have slapped on that thing.
At Siege of Orison, we had them.
Yeah, like they've been around.
They exist.
They've been around forever, and CIG's had the assets. Just stick those around an outpost. It's like, oh, well, we don't want to have an outpost in Stanton is obviously going to get attacked by Ninetales like 9 times, a week. They would obviously have some defensive turrets to tell people to fuck around and find out. And that would be a lot better.
The problem is right now we don't have a reputation system that hits like Freelancer.
Yeah.
Because we have, if you fuck your reputation hard enough, and we did have something like Freelancer's reputation system, you'd never be able to leave. You'd just be stuck there because as soon as you went somewhere, you'd be getting shot at and stand by some AI. And that's kind of the problem. Like, as I'm not very much of a PvP person, I'm not much of a pirate, but I do like to recognize that Chris Roberts wants these people to be able to play the game in some capacity. Stand is more lawful than what Chris Roberts wants for them. Like, obviously, we need some place for these people to go. They're gonna do like Xenothreat raids into Stan and kind of fuck with people, and then they're gonna get so much heat brought down on them that they have to either they're gonna have to be fighting NPCs forever, or they're gonna have to leave and then wait for do some gameplay loops to get rid of their crime stat or something, and then come back into Stan. Because if we just had the reputation system that we obviously want to have, and we had the defenses we wanted to have, as soon as those people step foot into a lawful space, they get flagged as criminals, and then it would just be free fire on them by everybody. And that's one thing PvP players, pirate players, don't like. Like, if you're out there to kill other players, you don't want to have to fight NPCs. You want to be able to fight players, because players are more interesting to fight for, whether it's seal clubbing or otherwise. So the way Star Citizen is going to handle dealing with these people is going to be putting up roadblocks with NPCs in high security space. Like, it's going to be more, these people are going to have a hard time moving around because they're going to get interdicted by the cops more. Cops are going to show up and scan them more. Depending on how bad the reputation gets, that you may just have like Shubin Mining. Their facilities may just open up on them with missile launchers as soon as they're within. Like, you can't get anywhere near those mining facilities anymore because Shubin just shoots at you.
Yeah, and hopefully that's tied into a reputation system where Shubin is primarily hostile against anyone that's not Shubin, and then you have to work your way up the reputation, and then until you get like level 2, and then only then you're allowed to actually go to their facilities.
The way it worked in Freelancer is you had like allies and associates, right? So you had everybody was like allied with whatever the local government was, and then you had like security forces, like local militias and bounty hunters who were allied with them, and then you had people who were on good terms or allied or neutral with another faction. So you could piss off a certain faction, a legal, lawful faction within a certain area, and then not destroy your reputation because nobody gave a shit about that faction in that area because they're from a different area of, I can't remember the universe they called freelancers, but because they were from a different nation, they're a different nation's faction, but they're operating legally, lawfully, like in Rhineland or something, and Rhineland doesn't give a shit about them. But if you fuck with them enough, Rhineland security will give a shit about you, and because your reputation is dropping with Rhineland security, everybody else likes you less as a result, because Rhineland, everybody has to be allied with like the security force. And if the security force hates you, everyone likes you less. So
it's like Crusader and Hurston security are in Stanton. So it's like So
you have like the United Empire of Earth at the top of this hierarchy. And if you pissed off the United Empire of Earth enough, like everybody starts to hate you. Every lawful faction.
Right, yeah. But if you just piss on Hurston's grave, like nobody cares because that's what
only Hurston cares. Like maybe Crusader Security, maybe ArcCorp would start caring, maybe Microtech would start caring if you pissed Hurston off enough, because if you're hurting them, you may be coming for us next. So it could also be dependent on like CIG could weight reputation differently. Like maybe Crusader Security hates Hurston, and if you piss on Hurston enough, like they start to like you more because they really don't like Hurston Security at all. You made up it with weird shit like that. But, right now it's up to the player base to kind of secure their own stuff. So if you're doing cargo delivery missions and someone shows up and you don't have backup, like that's on you. As I really, really, really hate to get escorts. You get that, you go to Spectrum to complain about the stuff and you hear the frogs start barking at you like, oh, just get escorts, that fixes everything. One, you got to convince them to play Star Citizen, right? Two, that person has to be available when you're playing. Three, that person has to be willing to play for almost nothing, right? What you're doing delivery missions, right? That's what you're interested in. How much do delivery missions pay, right? Per hour? Like the person has to like you to spend time with you, right? And then 4, that person has to have a ship that's capable of fighting back. And 5, that person has to be capable of fighting back to actually be of any use. So there's quite a few hurdles right now. I'd rather just have AI support, be able to hire that, have them follow me around and do security with me. Hire a couple like AI Gladiuses just to fly around and do escort duty with me.
Yeah, sure, because the Star Citizen AI is so reliable at this point.
It's I know, right?
Listen, the problem is like, and this has been my issue, is that CIG wants to make the AI more reliable, and they're working that direction, but they don't. It's like somebody who doesn't trust their own work. Like, it's clear that they want to do this, to do this, and they've been putting a lot of effort into it. But then at the same time, they do everything they can to never have to deal with it. Like like.
Look, my theory is that whoever figured out programmed the AI behaviors just kind of left the setting of how this should behave as set to
the
torpedo.
Developers. To torpedo.
Oh yeah, I've been having a lot of problems with my NPC bounties, like trying to run me over, and it's like.
And, they always say if you're out of torpedoes, you still have one.
Yep.
You always have one.
Ramming speed.
All right. Any more things you want to talk about, Space Cutter? Do you want to give your opinion on the lack of security at outposts?
I think this comes down to 2 things. Number one, you said that turrets and kind of area defenses should be powerful enough for people to find out. I agree. The problem is that, in my opinion, the not finding out when attacking defenses right now comes down to 2 things. Number 1, server performance, and number 2, artificial inaccuracy.
Yeah.
I said this in a video last week. With a little bit of math, you can find a firing solution on pretty much anything.
Yep.
And we prove this every single time. Like, modern air defense systems have 95% plus success rate on interceptions on FPV drones.
The new Patriot. I looked this up recently. The new Patriot missile system doesn't even have an explosive anymore. It just hits whatever. It just runs right over whatever is fired at it.
Yeah.
Just bonk.
Just 2 missiles hitting each other, moving at Mach 2 or something. The Patriot could do that. Yeah, that's just blows my mind. The math
so
on that.
Anything missing in an AI control turret missing in Star Citizen is either server behaving horribly, the turret being written wrong, the math being wrong, which is, to be fair, I would do the same. I would just do the simplest possible aim at predicted point. I'm a software developer. We're lazy. It's just how it is.
Hey, if it works, it works, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Or they artificially said, oh, you know what? This is going to be 75% accurate, or it's going to have this reaction speed. Because understandably, the turret has some physical limitations on how fast it can aim. So if you fly fast enough, you can theoretically fly faster than it can turn. But at that point, you are in nav mode, so you're not really shooting. You see my point. And the second thing, CIG like to design things not in a complete way. We see this with a lot of things.
Yeah.
But
they get them implemented in a partial state, and then it's okay, good enough. Let's move on. They do, what are they called? Sprints?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everybody does sprints. That's how software development works.
Yeah.
And I think they do this fully intentionally. And they just kind of put it out. It's missing a bunch of core functionality for any sane person. And they just see what people do. And then if it's an exploit, game-breaking exploit, they patch it up. If it's it pisses off a bunch of people, whatever. We'll come back to it in 5 years. We don't have to deal with that anymore.
Back to it in 5 years.
It's technically in. Move on. Yeah.
No, that's what they did with case in point, the ship customization system for the 300 series.
300.
Yeah.
Or the ship naming or ship docking. It's in. It works.
Sometimes.
Barely, but it's in there. But that's how CIG does it. They get it in, it works. Like, we could expand this later, so let's move on to the next sprint.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a project manager somewhere could take that ticket in a Jira and just slide it over to the next column.
Sure.
Done, delivered.
Yeah.
Cool. We're good. It's fine.
Sure, but it's like even at 1,300 people at CIG, they still don't have enough employees to do everything that's on their list.
Well, let's see here. They're building a single-player game, a cinematic single-player game, AAA single-player game, probably quadruple A. They're building a AAA MMO. They're building a web store. They're building their own forum software that has to integrate with the game. They're building. Building Discord.
They also have to build. They also have to build a process like the roadmap stuff, so that they can actually share all of this information with it, which requires its own team. They have an entire team dedicated to, for instance,
social media, Instagram, Twitter,
but they also
Facebook.
have to code things in, like, because apparently the reason why they didn't change the what was it called, the ship showdown, which is going to be coming out this week anyways, this coming week. They were going to change the ship showdown, how it worked a couple of years ago, after the whole Argo MPUV showed that how their system is flawed.
Working as intended.
They were going to.
Paul, we did that. Literally, you and me and Naz, we did that.
Yes, no, I 100%. I was responsible for it, and you can send your hate to me.
This year, Steve. Let's make Steve.
Steve or Steven with a P. The PH.
I'll do. I'll
Steven.
They're also doing their live shows on Twitch. They're also doing YouTube channels.
Yeah, but I mean,
content.
like, a lot of this stuff, legitimately
imagine
needs
how much
coding.
more work they could do if they weren't doing an open development. Oh, cat.
That's the one brain cell.
It's the quintessential too many irons in the fire blacksmith. Metaphor, right?
Yeah.
There's just so much crap going on. They don't have enough time for all this crap.
Once again, CIG, you literally know where I live. You literally know where I live.
But having
you
all
don't
these
even have to pay me
in the
that
fire, but having all these irons in the fire is what creates the outward perception of this project being the way it is, and that brings in the players, brings in the money, brings in the funding. Brings the ability to create huge studios in Manchester and hire 1,300 people.
Well, I would say like tax rebates help with that too as well.
It's not a rebate.
It's incentive.
The Manchester studio, tax incentives. Same with Montreal. Like they get paid from the government.
Incentive, sure, but it's not just like there's something they're writing off. It basically means that they get the money in advance. They still have to. The balance is still the same in terms of how much they have to pay to the government.
Yeah, it still ends up having coming back out to them. They just get some incentives.
Just get an advance loan, basically. That's it.
Anyway,
so they can actually do something with that money.
Hi, Maggie.
She's a cat.
Yes, she's being the most cat of cats. I have.
There she goes. So she jumps up onto the microphone at the desk, gets your attention. You pick her up, you pet her, and then she doesn't want to. I don't want to be petted.
She wiggles.
Then why'd you come up here?
It's just
for
I have
a very
the window
specific
open.
1.7 of a pet, nothing else.
Yes.
No, I have a window open because I would boil alive in here otherwise. But I also have the lights on, so all the flies are coming in here.
Okay.
And those flies are very interesting, and they're right underneath the lamp, and the lamp is right above me. So
she's trying to get up there.
Bouncing off point is right where my keyboard is. So it's a fine balancing act of me trying to keep the cat maybe on camera, maybe definitely off the keyboard, and trying to keep her from jumping everywhere.
All right, let's move on to the next question. I'll start off with this one because I think I can answer this one pretty well. So Unknown Guardian says, okay, abandoned asteroid base / bounty missions. Bounty target supposedly uses an abandoned space rock base as a hidey hole. You get there and you find a hint that they actually have been there for they've actually been there a while ago. Well, you search for hints. They might have gone. May have gone. They come back with a crew, and you have to find a way to sneak out without them finding you and offing you because you don't have the firepower to deal with them. Is something like that. Thoughts? Yes, I mean,
sorry, was there a question in there?
The question is that a good idea? Yes, but I mean, I think
okay, sure.
Please. immediately.
But on the other hand, I also want the ability to sneak into one of these facilities and catch them sleeping or on the toilet, not always in battle mode, which is
kind of like
what NPCs are right
Unforgiven?
now.
Or my
didn't they work on like
Skyrim.
a consumption system at some point where like NPCs would like cycle out to do this shit right around?
Yeah, but
NPCs were supposed to have life cycles where they'd go to bed, they come out and be active.
Go to work.
What was his name? Miles Eckhart was supposed to like be wandering around every so often. You always wouldn't find him stuck in the
they talked about it. They're working on that system. They have the system built, but there's a difference between building the system and actually implementing the system in the game.
That Radiant NPCs from
Skyrim and from Bethesda's games in general. They do the Radiant NPCs. But CIG actually in the last Squadron 42 monthly report, they were working on that system for Squadron, where like setting up the time schedules for the various NPCs and where they're going to go in various locations, especially the Archon station. So depending on when you are, they'll do those. Things.
Archon is basically a mall with a big laser attached to it.
It's huge. It's basically a landing zone. Like there's so much detail in that thing.
In that section of the Squadron 42 video where you're actually going up an escalator, you arrive at a mall. There's a sushi place and noodles and weapons.
Who wants some noodles?
That's actually not
noodles. That's actually
Who
wants some noodles?
It's not actually Archon. That's the other station that you meet Trejo in.
Oh.
There's another station there. There are multiple locations in Squadron 42 that are like you can
I knew of Asiedo and Archon, but not anymore.
Yeah, it's like Nova Station or something like that. It's like kind of like a neutral station that no one really owns, sort of thing. But it's kind of like Levski, where it's like like if the UE shows up, they're just like, yeah, well, fuck it, who gives a shit? But like don't start shit and then leave.
Right. So that's the station with all the cargo ships coming in for landing. I'm guessing Archon wouldn't have that. Because it's a mining operation.
Yeah. So, what systems are going to be in Squadron 42 that we know of? Only two, which is Vega and Odin. But we don't know. There might be.
But even
ones.
Vega is possibly only in the cold open intro.
Yeah. The Vega 2 is probably only just the planet, and you don't have an ability to search
because you're a grunt on the UAS.
You're a gunner. Yes.
The gunner. Yeah.
All right. So Jake of No Trades asks, what part of what makes Tarkov loot interesting is good optics, suppressors, mags, etc. are rare or expensive and hard to buy, i.e.
Yes.
You have to level a bunch to be able to buy them. With how easy parts are to come by, do you think they'll start taking those attachments away? How will they create scarcity with armor and weapons? Yes, they will. They've already started to do that. They
did it with railguns and the Animus missile launchers and heavy weapons and whatnot. They've taken them out of the store, so you can't buy them. You can only find them by looting.
Yeah, and all the 4 and up sites can only be looted, right?
The sniper scopes. Yeah. I think the snipers took the snipers out of the web.
They did
as well. And the sniper and the high magnification scopes are also out.
Yeah, like I said, 4 and up.
On one hand, really good for my database costs on like shops. Really bad for my database costs on loot.
Yes,
really bad.
the problem comes with that, which is there's no reliable location to get some of those gear, and like
other than like going to like a player trade thing.
Yeah, I think one of the things that they could do is. With reputation is places like Grimhex should be able to sell those items, but at an incredibly high price, or require you to go through a reputation gate to be able to get there. So that way you don't just roll the dice to see if you need to get a sniper rifle.
Have like, unless it was like some sort of illegal attachment, triangle rounds that
it's Grimhex. Like it's illegal. It's owned by the Ninetales
suppressors.
But,
Like, why can't you buy, like, I always imagine the UEE, United Empire of Earth, is a bit like Space America, where, like, you could buy, like, an anti-material rifle that could take the president out through his motorcade without any paperwork.
Kind of.
That's just kind of how I imagined the United Empire of Earth. Like,
did you just fucking put everyone on the list by talking about
hi FBI agent Steve? I'm sorry.
So, like,
hi, Miles.
Like in America, you can't buy anything that's above like 14 millimeter. It's like 12 or 14, whatever 50 caliber is. I think it's like 12.4.
If it's exactly half an inch, it's 12.8. Yeah.
12.8 millimeter. You can't buy a gun that has a cylinder bore above like 12 millimeters because that's considered a destructive device. And when you start stepping up to like above 12 millimeters in cylinder bore, you start stepping into like the Bohr's anti-tank rifle, which was used to shoot at tanks in World War II, and like the Piat anti-tank rifle. Like those were like 20 millimeter and 40 millimeter caliber. Those were cannons, right? But in Star Citizen, like I can imagine, like they sell us like stealth bombers, right?
Yeah.
They're selling us like F-8Cs and F-7As Mark IIs.
Size 9 torpedoes.
I can get size 9 torpedoes from Shubin mining facility.
Yeah.
I just go there, land, and I just click resupply.
Part of that is because you're not supposed to get size 9 torpedoes from Shubin mining. You're supposed to find them at specific locations. But second of all of the stuff a lot of that is brand new. Like since the Vanduul War started, they were like, okay, it's too expensive to police you fuckers. We're just going to start giving you guns.
The Civilian Defense Initiative. What do they call that initiative?
It's the militia mobilization initiative. So basically, giving every system its own CDF.
It's like the Second Amendment on steroids.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
so
also,
why would the UEE care about making like railguns illegal or high?
It's not illegal in the UEE. It's illegal in by the governments that control those regions. So like in Crusader, it's illegal to own a rail rifle, like a railgun. Not illegal in the UEE, but
oh, I just noticed. Thank you, A Corps.
HC Vertigo.
Vertigo.
Oh,
Vertigo. It's like Russian or something.
Yes.
Vertigo. Let's go.
Okay.
Hatse Vertigo.
People are gonna go look. I'm gonna go look this guy up on Twitch. He's some booby streamer.
Yeah,
it's like doing squats in a kiddie pool for tips.
Wait. So what
isn't that most of Twitch anyway?
Yeah.
I don't know. Haven't been on here in a while.
There we go. So is that a hockey club? I just realized. Hockey Club Vertigo.
Hockey Club. That's hot chocolate.
There we go.
Is it hot chocolate?
Comrade HC Vertigo. That's
Comrade HC Vertigo.
Good evening, comrade.
No, what does HC stand for? I don't think I ever asked you. I did. It was years ago, and I was drunk, and I can't remember.
It's hardcore Vertigo. There's many implementations, but there's only one. Okay, so it's two different. My username is two different things because Vertigo was already taken, but I've usually always go by Vertigo. Not for what people think.
Not for the Hitchcock film.
Oh, that's actually it. That's what I was going to say. It's like the compound is HC stands for Hitchcock and Vertigo is Vertigo.
Oh, not for Hitchcock. Okay.
Yes. I wish. But Vertigo is actually from a video game called Primal Rage. One of the characters I named in the arcade, her name was Vertigo, and she was this lizard creature that could like hypnotize you and stab you with her tail. Pretty cool. But people also wrongly associate it with Vertigo 1 from Descent.
I thought you just got dizzy when you got high up or something.
But a corpse is like Paul is so cultured. You think I wear the suit and tie just for aesthetics? Of course, I'm a snob little bastard. Of course, but it also helps that my dad was a massive Hitchcock fan, so I've seen all of Hitchcock's films and a lot of his like little TV shows stuff. My dad used to have, I think it was the DVD set of like the Hitchcock hour that used to
could have been VHS.
Yeah, it might have probably been VHS.
Oh my God, VHS!
I miss VHS.
I remember watching the Hitchcock show on a black and white TV. Like a long time ago.
I forgot what it's
I
called.
remember being the remote for my parents' black and white TV.
Oh yeah. Go up and change the channel. Right.
Well, look up what the name was. It was
Hitchcock Presents. Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
And then
I kind of remember the dun 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 dun.
And he walks onto the stage. He walks on, and then
he has got an outline. He walks into his outline.
Yeah, and then good evening.
Hitchcock was the originator of putting himself into every movie he made, right?
Yep. Yeah. He was usually like an extra.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Chris Roberts just went with it.
Actually,
I can't wait for his cameo in Squadron 42. It's going to be as cheesy and unnecessarily prolonged as it was in Wing Commander.
I know what it is, and it's funny. It's funny.
He was in Wing Commander. I don't remember if he was in Wing Commander 3, but I know he was in Wing Commander 4 at the very end.
Didn't he walk up? Didn't he walk up and like hand something to like Bishop as?
He probably did.
Yeah.
In Wing Commander 3.
Yeah.
I only remember the movie.
Yeah.
Because
Welcome to Seoul, Commander.
Wing Commander 4. He's like, I couldn't take it anymore at the very end.
Yeah. All right. Next question. We've only got 4 questions left.
We started with only 2.
We only have 10 more hours left in the day, so I think we got this.
I still got 2 hours left.
No, I'm already on the new day, so we got 24
exactly.
hours.
I got 23 and a half hours. We're good.
Jack of no trades asks, do you think we'll get unique armor weapon variants? I'd love to see unique animations like a gun flip unholstering or a salvo that turns people to goo, or golden Ninetales AK would be dope as fuck. Yeah, of course.
I think we're gonna get unique variants because CIG has to milk this cash cow somehow, some way.
It's not even just cash cow. It's CIG is made up of a bunch of fucking artists, and anybody who knows fucking artists, and I don't mean artists, I mean fucking artists.
Fucking artists.
And anyone who knows fucking artists knows that they have a similar sort of brain disease to me with like lore, is that they just like cool shit. So especially
it won't even be lore. It'll be like Destiny, where they just make random shit that just looks like garbage, and we'll justify it laser. Just put it on the store.
You saw the ISC where they talked to the weapons team. Like the weapons team is just gonna do some crazy shit because they think it's cool, and it's entirely up to the producers to see if this cool thing is worthwhile putting into the game. But I guarantee you, there's random cool shit they have made for the last several years that will probably never see.
I guarantee you some of the random shit they've made is only in Squadron 42 right now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're just oh god, we got to get this shit out so people can actually see what we've done.
Yeah.
Somewhere pipe of artists, managers, and designers, there's gonna be like a gameplay developer, and he's gonna be like, "You fucking what?
Yeah.
You want me to do what?"
See, this is why I think that CIG made a mistake by getting the top floors of the new Manchester building. They should have gotten the bottom floors and a basement to keep all those people in, because that's where they belong.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But yeah, no, definitely. I mean, and they'll make it behind rep walls, or to do special sales for them. You know, they'll do shit like that. You know.
I mean, I'm assuming that we're eventually going to go like the gacha game route, where they're going to be selling everything.
Listen, if they're going gacha game route, then we need waifus for our ships. We need waifu pinup shit.
I know that's one thing I think that Star Citizen is missing, is like an actual waifu.
Yeah.
Kind of angle.
We need
pretty girls doing cute things. That sells.
That sells like crazy. Are you kidding me? Like,
yeah.
Like Hoyoverse has sold 3 games on that alone. So like, and those are free
I
to
know
play.
what my own weakness is. Okay, Paul. I don't.
Do we have any sort of numbers to back up like the Hoyo girl sales?
I'm saying
routine?
I'm saying if we just had cute girls in Star Citizen, we would have those numbers.
Yes.
No.
Janitor.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying, it's like it's something to consistently combat that the monthly, Star Citizen makes $700 million, game still not released.
I'll look it up. I'm sure.
Paul, I know what we could do. We could have. It's a thing that's happening right now where you can get like a virtual AI girlfriend to send you like calls and text messages, and you can talk to her.
Tessa Bannister.
And we could have that in Star Citizen because we got a lot of lonely nerds with a lot of money.
Okay,
so all we gotta do is get your the kit from Knight Rider. You can have an AI for your ship module. It talks to you, it text messages you, and it talks dirty. Yeah.
This
There's a problem with you. there, Vertigo. There's a problem with you. So do you want me to tell you how much money they made? How much money?
Singular.
You know what?
Too many problems.
I looked it up.
Yeah.
Do you want to know how much money Genshin Impact alone made in 2022?
They advertised during the Olympics, Paris Olympics, I think, recently. So they're probably in the billions.
In 2022
$7
alone,
billion.
just from iOS and Android app purchases, they made 1.5 billion years. Billion dollars. $1.5 billion. And that was up
in a year.
In 2022. And that was up from 2021 where they made 1.2 billion on just mobile app purchases.
Yeah. Those fucking mobile games with the
Free to play
girls in it, those gacha games, those are big money if you get people hooked to them.
They have 4.8 they're 4.8 billion active users in not billion. This says there were 4.8 monthly active users on average in 2022. Overall monthly users peaked in September at 4.8 million active users, and it peaked in September 2020 with 7.9 million. And it's been downloaded 139 million times since 2020.
I think I need to pitch waifus at the daily meeting on Monday.
Like I said, we could just do it like the AI girlfriend. You have an AI module that goes into your cockpit of your ship. And your ship talks to you, and
one thing that we need to do first though is have a finished game. I think.
Yes.
That's one thing that
the one thing that Hoyoverse is that they a lot of their games are derivative of like other games, but they're done.
Yeah, but they're
finished.
Done, yeah.
How the fuck did Genshin Impact make the same amount of money in a year as the company I work for, which is like the largest financial
There are a lot of
world.
lonely, horny nerds out there.
There are, and they are supporting
that
three
are
separate. There are three separate titles. There's three separate titles that they have too. That's the insane
There's
part.
another one. There's another one. It was one of those Call of Duty or
Warzone?
Call of Duty Mobile. There's Call of Duty Mobile, Battlefield.
No, it wasn't a mobile. It was a PC released sort of battle royale version of one of those games.
Warzone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. In a month, they made $1 billion. A month.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
I work in the wrong industry.
Yes, you do.
Oh my God, working video games, unless you're at the very top.
Yeah,
or a stockholder.
You don't see that money. No, you don't see that
shit.
You're in the wrong. You're in the wrong industry, but you're in the right industry if you want to keep your job and have benefits.
Oh yeah. Like remember when Baldur's Gate 3 was going like gangbusters, and it was just like everyone was like, yeah, Baldur's 3 is the best game ever, and then like the entire studio of like the people working on Dragon Age 4 got fucking fired by Electronic Arts BioWare because fuck if I know.
The one game they have that could compete against Baldur's Gate, they said, fuck it.
People are actually excited for Baldur's Gate. Like, RPGs are back, bro. Let's fire everybody. Okay?
Yeah, you know what, to be fair, I am a big fan of being able to afford food and my mortgage.
Yeah.
That is very true. Big fan. Huge fan.
But the thing about it is that, like, again, I only sort of joke that they should do waifus, but if CIG wanted to make money, if they made some sort of means for you to customize your ship more than just buy this paint that's red, this skin that's red. I
agree.
But if they added even a little bit more details, like buying a color palette and letting you color it in yourself, you would be, and like little stencils you could slap onto your ship, including like, pinup girls and stuff like that.
Don't make me do the customization rant.
If they
I
added
have
a little
video on it. 3
if they
years
added a little hula girl,
no, we all agree about the customization.
She was topless with jiggle physics.
Yeah,
I would buy that for $5.
Literally, I made a video on ship customization 3 years ago. Everybody said I'm an idiot, but I am still right.
Yeah.
I was right then.
I think everybody agrees they should sell patterns, and then you could just do whatever you want color-wise
like Destiny.
with those.
Yeah.
Or they could do it in loot boxes. Hey, you want to make the loot pool more interesting? Sell like in the future we have DRM, right?
Mm-hmm.
For like paints and liveries. And if you don't own the rights to that livery, like it's a crime. So you go through Paul, it's a dystopian future. I mean, you're laughing.
You're right. I'm not laughing.
But it's literally lore. This is where we can go today.
Yeah. I'm not laughing. They're laughing, not me.
Okay. But literally, it could be something you find. You find the permission, a DRM permission slip somewhere that's been hacked, and you can just slot it to your ship, and now you have the right holographic paints would have been perfect. Like just be able to change the hull color by swapping out a module.
You mean like the one that they actually sold in the fucking
the electro
skin for a long time?
Yeah, for the RSI. Some RSI. We don't even know what ship it was for. It just was for RSI.
Yeah. All right. We've got 3 more questions, and I'm gonna now pause it.
Paul's like done with our shit.
Gin and Tonic asks, how small can they make the quantum drive?
About this small.
That's a jump drive. Yeah, 7. Could you have a quantum drive enabled probe? Yes.
Yes.
Probably, I would imagine.
It exists, I think.
Or a torpedo.
Technically.
Ooh.
Could an unmanned quantum probe be faster than a manned ship? Sort of, but no. So the way that the system, the way that the game, or the way that the communication systems work, the way that that Asiato comm relay works, is that it is always faster because you can travel at light, and you can't travel at light. Like transmissions can travel at light, so you can't travel at light speed in game, but you can travel transmissions from light speed. So
other than from one system to the other, but
other one system to the other,
yeah.
Yeah, so what they do is they just transmit through light from relay to relay to where you need to go, and then if it reaches a station outside of a jump point, that station will then take the messages, wait for the messages to accrue to a certain point or a time or something, we don't know exactly, but like some sort of thing will hit, and then it'll download all of those messages into a probe. And then that probe will then be shot into the jump point and then go through the jump point, go to the other side of the jump point, dock with the station on the other side, upload the messages, and then continue the chain. And so there are probes in lore which are both quantum and jump capable, which are able to carry all these messages, which are not done through couriers. The thing is that couriers are faster because they don't have to wait for the download and upload sequences at the jump point. So they can just keep going. So they have that sort of fast, and it's a lot more secure than, open air broadcast that no one can intercept. So
because encryption doesn't exist in the whatever millennium.
I thought that was the job of the Herald. In some cases, especially remote systems, they may not have many probes, or they may not have those probes, and so you can use the Heralds or the Mercury to run to run those messages instead. So places like Pyro probably don't have Asiato comm relays, but the stations could probably transmit, and so they probably use Heralds to transmit data from Pyro out if they need to. So, but yeah, that's all we know. How small is that? That could be the size of a bus. Like that probe could be fucking massive. I couldn't tell you, but quantum drives are tiny. You can carry them in your hand.
I'm reminded of the torpedo from Star Trek Voyager.
Yeah, the one that B'Elanna created.
B'Elanna made when she was a Maquis, and then she had to unmake.
Oh my god, you're talking about the episode Dreadnought, which actually was a pretty good episode of Voyager.
Yeah. But that was that episode, that was like because they had to actually have her inside something, so they actually had a set that they had to build. But there was like a small room that you could get into, and that thing was huge.
It was huge. Yeah.
It was his own spaceship. Yeah.
Is this in game? No, what I just said was not in game because it's just the concept and lore of how those messages are sent in the universe. But that is one of the reasons why data running exists is so that you can be faster and more secure and
ships like the Mercury Star Runner, ships like the Herald.
Yeah.
Possibly more data
Saber
than
Raven.
A probe can carry at once.
Yes. So
it's like the joke. There was like a carrier pigeon gives you better bandwidth in real life than actually using gigabit fiber, because a carrier pigeon can carry like multiple terabyte hard drive.
Yeah, you just strap it to the leg and let it go.
Just so many micro SD cards that are a terabyte each.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a famous test, and I think it was either in like South Africa Or it was like
South Africa, where they
realized
that the pigeon delivered it faster
than the internet. Yeah. It was so slow that that a pigeon, but carrier pigeon was faster. It might have been Australia. That was like pigeon was faster than the internet speeds.
Yeah, Australia is notorious for very, very slow internet. Yeah.
All right, we got 2 more questions. Gin and Tonic asks, why doesn't the UEE reduce Grimhex to radioactive dust? There's actually a good reason for this. Number one, UEE doesn't give a shit. Because
that's Stan's problem.
That's Crusader's problem. And number 2, Crusader, the Grimhex, while it is obviously illegal, is not legally illegal. You can't prove that that Ninetales runs out of that. And every time they go to the people who live in Grimhex, they say, hey, are Ninetales here? And Grimhex, people who live in Grimhex say, no. So they won't like testify against the fact that Grimhex is there or that Ninetales is there, even though we know that there are records of Ninetales showing up at Grimhex and saying, you're ours now. And the people who said no, they just threw out an airlock or just shot in the head because they're Ninetales and they're not subtle. So it's one of those, like, they technically are under the control, but they can't really legally and politically make it work. So if they just nuked it into pieces, it would also be killing a lot of innocent civilians because most of the people who are there because they have no other place to go. And they don't want to leave. So it would be like a nightmare for the company that is supposed to be the nice company in companies in the dystopian future, Crusader. So it's
if
because
it was me, I'd blow the whole place up.
Yeah, but it's I don't know
what happened.
But it's Crusader, so they have to like pretend that they give a shit about the people because that's their whole shtick.
It's a PR problem.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
And this is where independent contractors come in handy.
It's just where players come into place.
Yeah,
you
just leave all the airlocks open. You hire someone to hack the airlock system. All the airlocks open in Grimhex, and suddenly, just like a couple hours later, you don't have any more problem.
Isn't that what happened
could
in
you
the
nuke
Expanse?
the place?
Yeah.
Yes, you could. But it wouldn't be very good for the stock value.
Yeah.
Paul, is there an episode of the Expanse that has the exact same thing?
Yeah, that's kind of where they kind of lock everyone in and then they expose them to
vacuum.
To vacuum. Well, it's not vacuum. They expose them to it was the proto-molecule broke out, and so they had to they basically spaced the whole thing so that they wouldn't be able to get access to it. Also, rich people hang out at the casino. Yeah, there is the betting location there.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it's also like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it worth getting the resources and manpower to just blow up? Is it worth the antimatter torpedo cost to blow up Grimhex? It can actually change?
Yes, it is.
Is it actually going to change the amount of Ninetales that are in the system? No.
Yeah.
Or is
the whole Imperium versus
it'll
the Tau thing? Like, could the Imperium crush the Tau? Yes. Does the Administratum want to commit the resources? You know what? Probably better spent fighting the orcs somewhere else.
Yeah, and also on top of that, like when you leave Grimhex alone, you can start tracking movement in and out of Grimhex, so you know where all the bad guys are because they're going to go to Grimhex because it's safe. So you already have it's like.
But also there's probably a racket going on where the Ninetales are paying off Crusader just to keep them alive.
Yeah,
that too.
There's lots of stuff like that. So, but all right, the last question is from Knowledge Lambo, who asks, "Is the size 7 ballistic gun going to be the same as the size 7 ballistic Gatling? Yes and no."
For gameplay reasons, it's probably a completely different gun. They'll just balance it separate.
He's talking about the Perseus. So like the Perseus, because I know.
Not the Ares.
Not the Ares, but the size 7 ballistic Gatling on the Ares is a different weapon from the size 7 gun on the Perseus, because the size 7 gun on the Perseus is older than dirt, whereas the ballistic one on the Ares is brand new.
Bespoke for the Ares.
Yes.
You can't take it off and put it on something else.
And that's the same with the Perseus. The gun that's on the Perseus is bespoke as well. So,
but just older.
Yeah, but it's like a cannon versus a rotary cannon.
Right. So potentially DPS about the same, but single shot every few seconds versus Yeah.
So it's rate of fire is the difference. So It'll be the red. It'll probably have some aspects of like armor penetration. It's going to be slightly different, and power usage.
Well, that depends
will
on
be
the
different.
ammunition, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like the gun on the Perseus is like a cannon versus a Gatling. So so the caliber is going to be different in size. So design shock docs are neat. Well, the problem is that we don't have the full details on that because the reason why we don't have the details on those that information is because CIG doesn't know that information yet because they have to balance it against size 7 what are they called? Energy weapons, other size weapons, what the weapons are supposed to be doing, how they're supposed to function. Because the Perseus is designed to slay subcaps, so it's like it's going to have a different status. Its weapons are going to do something different than just a generic size 7 you might be able to slap on another ship. Because
and of course, as soon as it gets in, it's going to be overpowered, and then they're going to nerf it. And
nerf it. They're going to do the ion.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah. It's the whole process. So
like the answer is CIG doesn't know, so we don't know, but we can speculate
based off of what they've done before. So
yep.
All right, that was the last.
They're nothing if not predictable.
Yeah, that was the last question.
They're always late, and they always nerf it after they're done selling it.
Yes. So there is this. That was the last question, so we're going to be wrapping this up here. I still have 1 hour and 56 minutes left. If you've been wondering what this number is how long I have to stream for. If you
don't, give him subs, give him bits, donate.
If you donate or if you sub or if you give me bits, this number goes up. The maximum it can go up to from here is about, let's see. It's almost 6 o'clock here, my time. So it's about 6 more hours. Or not 6 hours, 4 more hours.
4 more hours.
The man sleeps. Give him money.
Yeah. So it's entirely up to you. But I do want to thank Jarinator, Comrade HC Vertigo, and the Space Coder. The only and Kane, son of Nod, father of Nod. For joining us here at the Captain's Table. And I say this occasionally, and I've had a couple of people respond. And if you have, I may have not gotten back to you. If you have messaged me, I have seen those. I just sometimes see them like, oh, I'm going to respond, and I forget. So just message me again if you have. But I always looking for new people. So if you have if you're looking for want to come on, let me know. The one thing I will say is if you're just, hey, I like your show, I want to join you. That's probably not going to work too much. Like I'm looking for people who are in the community in some way for like, you have some project you were doing or you're a content creator or you work for some organization.
I might have a guy for you in like a month.
Okay.
Or 2. You're going to like it.
Cool.
You're going to like it very much.
So that sort of thing is what I'm looking for you to come on and talk to me. Like if you're here to pitch something, like I know like the next week I'm going to have the folks from Atmo Esports to come on to talk about what they're going to be doing at
nice.
CitizenCon. So
I need to buy the last Star Citizen ticket. It's like $50.
Oh right, you have
for the Atmo event on Sunday.
Oh, you have to buy those
after CitizenCon.
I have to buy those tickets, don't I?
Just talk to Crucian next week, and he'll hold one for you.
Okay, I'll have to ask him. I'll probably get in there, but anyways, thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube after the fact or currently, I'm going to start up the YouTube stream again for the pubathon here shortly. So it'll be a few minutes and I'll start it back up. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black. All right, I'll be right back here shortly. I don't know why it just logged me out, but it did for, okay. Hopefully I'm still live. Yeah. Later. Be right back, chat. There it goes.